mucus-free. We are 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 mucus-free.
Greetings, brothers and sisters. This is Professor Spira
Brother Air. We are mucus-free.
We are mucus-free.
We are mucus-free, Jack.
You know, and well, what's what is going on? What is going on today? This
Wow. It's they say don't get scared if it gets too real.
Yeah.
It's there now.
Yeah.
It's real now. And so all of those conscious all of the so-called chess players that
right. Roll call.
Roll call.
Roll call.
Where you at? You know, like, okay, what's the next move?
It's been very quiet.
Yeah, they're gonna be very quiet because this isn't a cardboard game board. This is real now, and
right.
So, and you have the first of the month checks going out in about less than a week. That's gonna be interesting.
There's the checks going out, folks and the people that can't make rent. And the
I don't have rent, but I can't make a lot of stuff either. But so that's gonna be interesting because you've heard the statistics of how much money stays in certain ethnic groups community. So check this month out.
Right. Because local mom and pop stores are all fully stocked, but you go to Walmart, there ain't there ain't.
So we see nothing. The finances are gonna be going one direction,
right,
all in the same place,
right.
So all through the whole ethnic breakdown. So this is our attempt. This evening is our attempt to always try to stay in a serving mode, trying to help someone else, even before we looked after ourselves. It's like we don't have money as resources, but we have some ideas and some perspectives on what's going on, and so just trying to serve and help, help where we can, man. And you did so.
Yeah. I mean, this is, like I said, this is not a drill. This is just the real deal now. And so
it's the real deal, and so we're gonna, this is what all this studying and going inward,
right?
all this meditation and all this stuff is about now. Okay, let's really see what you can summons up.
Right.
Basically, for me, I concentrate on just controlling what I'm putting in my mouth and keeping my rectum clean.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to keep it simple, and I know it's other things that I have to deal with too, but if I can stay there, keeping it really simple and basically not eat, and that's one thing I can do.
Right.
So I'm not going to be enslaved like that. But that's interesting that all the produce, we got plenty of produce.
Plenty of produce. And he's
Plenty,
walking into
plenty
almost
of
any store.
for green leafy, for fruits and green leafy plant eaters. It's in abundance.
Yeah, the only store that I'd been to where the produce was kind of light was was Whole Foods.
Yeah, but well, yeah, light and I guess very expensive.
Right.
You know. So I don't know, a lot of us is going there anyway, you know, for a lot of produce during these times.
Yeah,
I seen gas was $1.53, man. That was the lowest I've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
There's no place to go though.
Right. Yeah. No place to go, and
yeah,
you know, unless you're gonna, you know, go out in the mountains somewhere and live out your vehicle.
And we don't want to give away too much, but we're gonna do a pop-up musical thing. You know, the deeper it gets, we're gonna do something.
Yeah.
You can't keep us contained. We might be up in the mountains at an undisclosed location doing a concert. So keep out looking for that, because
yeah.
You know,
that's it. So I want to say greetings, everybody that's saying what's up in the chat. We see you.
Hey.
And there's one person that said that you have a question that if you could ask it now, I'd ask it a little bit later. We're about to get into something real quick, and I'm gonna go through some information. So, but yeah, we'll open it up a little bit later and have a little Q&A session. We'll be at a rant together.
That'll be fun.
Yeah.
That'll be fun and really serious.
Yeah. I mean, there's gonna be some serious. I mean, we're dealing with some serious stuff now, you know, and so we're gonna get into some things, and it is important to have the open dialogue for everybody to be a part of the discussion. That's ready to be a part of the discussion. And so, there was one question which I'll say it now so we don't lose it, and then we'll come back to it. Lee asked, greetings, Professor Spira Brother Air. Do you think it's possible to survive doing busking on the streets?
What a question.
Yeah.
In these times.
I was going to say the operative part of that would be when. Yeah. You know, last month, you know, now today.
You can do it, but you have to do it. You have to come up with new ways of finding traffic.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it can be done. I mean, I haven't done any of it. You know, I haven't done any of it since, 2-3 weeks ago. I think the last thing I did was that Lauren Hill.
Mm-hmm.
And ever since then, I haven't done anything. But where there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah, and
if you really want to do that, you know.
Because the whole street piece is about the creativity and freedom mindset anyway, and so you're constantly dealing with something. That's just part of the job.
Right.
So you're either dealing with some cops over here, or some people over here doing something, or someone messing with you, some drunk folks doing something, or so there's always something to deal with, and this is just another it's just another thing to deal with.
Yeah, that's the way I look at it. It's just another kind of thing, man. So I mean, it's possible. I'll say that. Yes, it's possible, because anything is possible in terms of if you set your mind to doing something, and figuring out and having strategies. The strategy's still the same.
Right.
Do it until They tell you can't do it.
Right. Right.
And then you still do it.
Still do it. Yeah.
You know.
Right.
So,
Survival mindset. So what I want to do now, I want to take a few minutes. We're gonna spend a little bit of time going over the discussion that we had on Wednesday. So this past Wednesday, we had a community, basically kind of like a town hall meeting, and we got into some stuff. We just in light of everything that's going on, all of the governments are shutting things down and telling you can't leave your house, you can't assemble in larger groups and 10 people at a time, or now 2 people at a time, or you got to stay 6 feet away from people. I mean, just the kind of directives that are being given by these governing entities, and the degree to which they enforce them, and those that have a keen eye notice the transition that's happening, the transitional process that these folks are using to get people acclimated to these type of changes. There's some savvy, these savvy agendas that's happening, where they don't do this overnight. It's basically, as we said, the manufacturing of consent. There's various ways that governing bodies and folks that are trying to control your situation basically put you in a position to where you just give up your freedom, where you just you hand it away willingly and say thank you at the same time. And so that's a bit of what's happening now. And I was particularly concerned with this idea of universal, well, not the idea, but the potential or prospect of universal vaccinations, that if we continue to go down this path in the way that we're going down this path, then this is going to be a reality for in a lot of countries, amongst a lot of people. There's solid evidence. This is not a conspiracy theory kind of thing. This is a be prepared. Let's analyze the situations and let's be prepared for what's coming down the pike, because these things have been published. It's already been transitioning to that. There's already a lot of jobs and things that you can't do in certain places in the world if you are unwilling to have them pump this poison into your veins. And so this is a document that I put together while we were in this meeting. So this document, I want to give credit and thanks to everybody that attended the meeting. We had almost 50 people that either listened in, folks that called in on the phone or came in with the video camera, and we had a great discussion, a serious discussion about what do we do, what can be done, what might be done to us, and just outline it all. Because logically speaking, when you ask well, first and foremost, this whole process is about not being fearful, not being scared, not making decisions out of fear. We want to analyze, we want to be logical and think openly and say, okay, what's the best case scenario? What's the worst case scenario? And what's everything in between? Let's be prepared for all the scenarios. So if you want to have access to this document, there's links down below. If you're on YouTube, take the link to the blog post and then find the link to this document on the blog post. If you're on mucusfreelife.com blog post, look down below. You will find a link to be able to view this document through Google Sheets here. Not Google Sheets, but Google Document. And so I'm just going to go through this. Is another thing. Some people have been wanting to have a replay of the meeting. And unfortunately, I tried to have that meeting recorded. But as is usual with this type of thing, something happened with the recording. And so I don't know if we're gonna have a recording of this one. So, but I made sure to try to create a good document, and it's a work in progress. This can be refined. My hope is that as we go through this and people get onto the document, hit the links, check out this information, and we'll be able to really study this stuff. Come back next week, next Wednesday, and apply some of this information, or the week after that, whenever we kind of just think as enough time has passed, we have another serious discussion about this. Do that then. So let's just get going through here. So I'll just read this for the benefit of folks that's only listening to the audio. I will go ahead and read some of these things for the podcast, because this is, after all, the 14th Mucus-free Live podcast as well. The following outline are notes from the private online community meeting conducted by Professor Spira on March 25th, 2020. In light of forced lockdowns and quarantines happening around the world, and in light of the alleged coronavirus pandemic, members of the community are increasingly concerned with the prospect of forced vaccinations. The following, I was working on this today. I'm just trying to get this done, so there's going to be some things to correct in here. But the following includes major points brought forth by community members, as well as links to resources to be studied. You are encouraged to study the materials and attend our next town hall meeting, where we will continue to build on this discussion. And this document will be updated, and I'll probably update this as we're talking about it. So, to give an outline of how I organized this discussion and how I wanted to organize our approach to this whole topic, if you look at, my first question is, how might forced vaccinations be implemented? Next question, what laws are already on the books that we should be studying or being familiar with and around the world, so that we have an idea of how might this be implemented? Organizations that are involved. This is an area where we need a lot more research here. There wasn't a whole lot of organizations that people yelled out, and I don't know how much we actually know about these organizations, other than sort of some of the surface level things. What local, state, federal, international, and human rights laws might be violated if you are forced to vaccinate. And then ways to fight forced or coerced vaccination. And so these were the primary questions. Then at the end, list of the best scholars and historians, lawyers, groups on the topic, and some good books and works to check out. So we're going to let's go through all this. This stuff is super important. So first question, how might forced vaccinations be implemented? So, and I'm taking this again for people that weren't in the meeting. A lot of these answers are from the community, so I don't take credit for stuff. It's just this is what came about as all of us putting our heads together. So the first one on here, many states such as New York already require vaccination for children going to school, and we have a document here. There's a lot of documents on it, but this is New York is back earlier last year. New York eliminated religious exemptions for vaccines, basically totally requiring it. There's no way to get an exemption and get out of it if you are a very educated parent that knows not to do that, to put the poisons in the child. There's no way, a religious way or a medical way. There's no way to get out of it now in that state. And they have created a template for that other states in the United States, as we say, United States corporation, that they will try to authorize, and administer and enforce. And so that's one thing to take a look at. And we need to get a little bit more information on details of some of the other states, but I know New York is one of the worst. But yeah, the does it have the state? Oh, okay. Well, I have a couple different state by state where they analyze the different things. But I have a good friend that lived in New York and was caught up in all this and is very knowledgeable about the troubles of vaccinations and all that kind of stuff, and ultimately moved someplace else, moved out of the state to protect the child. And so that is the direction that we have to start going. This is, we have to set the entitlement at the door for people that feel entitled to all this liberty and freedom and things should be like this, and sort of that used to just kind of saying things and they either change or don't change because it's not that big a deal. We have to put that aside, because we're not living in that world anymore. And wherever you're coming from, as cushy and comfortable as you think your little space is, don't think that things is just gonna be like it was. We have to put some work in and some study in to be able to protect ourselves from whatever may come down the pike. So next one on this part, colleges have increasingly been requiring new students to show proof of vaccinations, and when I was last time I taught, when I was teaching at Ohio State, luckily they didn't try, or I wouldn't have taught, but they didn't try to say that the professors had to get vaccinated, but students after 2015 enrolled at Ohio State University are required to have certain, and I put them down here, certain vaccinations, the I don't even want to read all these, but you can see just all the different ones. And then students that were in the resident halls, there was a whole other level of vaccinations that they had to get. And so I use that as an example because I'm sure that started looking at a bunch of different colleges that this policy is something that is probably sweeping the nation and potentially the world, universities around the world. And because of the way the system is structured, I don't know if it's a majority, I'd have to look at that, but a huge number of people go to universities, as part of the higher education, the way that the system is structured. And so that is one way that's already requiring people to get into the vaccinations. Another element here, and again, how might these forced vaccinations be implemented? And I guess I should say, with this is not a discussion on is vaccinations good or bad. If you're into vaccinations and you want to get them and give them to your children, my job isn't sitting here trying to say don't do that. Like I don't care. Whatever you want to do with your body and your body of your family, you do what you need to do. But this is for folks that have already did all that study. There's all kinds of information about how terrible vaccinations are, so you can go study that stuff. But for people that we're past that now. We're just saying it's against our human rights to be forced to be given a vaccination. And so other things they could do, they could require a pass or some kind of privilege in order to work. And there's already a lot of employers around the world that require employees to be vaccinated or face consequences or sanctions, or just you're not allowed to work there. And I always have to tell the story of a good friend of ours, had been practicing the Mucusless diet for a couple years, and there was a job that she wanted to get where it was going to be like a nurse's assistant or something. She was going to be working in a doctor's office, and they said, if you want to work here, you have to have a vaccination. You had to get these vaccines or whatever. And so, even we kind of warned her, like, when you practice the Mucusless diet, they don't make those vaccines with us in mind, with our physiologies. When you're eating a bunch of of beef and steak and McDonald's and Burger King and Taco Bell and that type of food, you have a better chance of not sort of, having insane reactions and eliminations when you get the virus. Yeah, when they give you the virus through the vaccinations. But if you're practicing a mucusless diet or any of these plant-based kind of healing modalities and things like that, be very, very careful, because what happened to this young woman I'm talking about, she was bedridden for several days, at least a couple days. I mean, she couldn't even move. I mean, basically paralyzed. So that poison got in there, and she was an adult, but she'd been practicing the mucusless diet, doing a lot of fasting, lemon juice enemas, that kind of thing. And so, our bodies is very dangerous for us to start messing around with these type of poisons. Keep on going. A couple other things: you cannot travel. They could impose some type of passport kind of thing, or have that a part of. You can't get a license, or you can't get a passport unless you can prove that you've had a vaccination. That's one way to do it. A lot of people, if you live someplace where you need an ID or need a license or something like that, then hey, if they say you can't get it without the vaccination, then you're out of luck. Next, children may be taken away from parents who do not vaccinate their children or themselves. I mean, some of that kind of stuff already happens some places. The right to vote could be taken away. People could be arrested and held indefinitely without being told why, also known as the suspension of habeas corpus, which means a writ requiring a person under arrest to be brought before a judge or into court, or at least be told why you're there, what they're doing. Basically, they can just hold you, come grab you and hold you. This country does that now. It's done that historically. Don't think it can't happen to you. And once you're in custody, they can forcibly, like they could do with any inmate or any prisoner, if they forcibly vaccinate. And if you watched the video that I made a couple weeks ago on forced sterilization, if they are prepared to take away people's ability to reproduce, you don't think that they're that they have the wherewithal and the intention to put all kinds of poison up in you without your consent? So I put a little Guantanamo Bay case study here for this kind of forcibly, just the ability of the government to step in and have that kind of force, where I use Guantanamo Bay internment of Japanese Americans in the internment camps during World War II, a very understudied and underdiscussed topic that I'll probably make a video on pretty soon, because that's, these are important. Everybody, it's easy to go and talk about the the Holocaust. You can talk about slavery, these things, but then there's these little ones that's like, well, wait a minute, these are, there's these other things aren't one-time sort of things. There's a pattern. Sometimes people look at these things like, oh, that was a one-time thing, or that just happened over here. No, this stuff is happening all the time and can happen again and will happen again, and we got to protect ourselves. So a creation of a social credit system like in China. A lot of people don't know about this. I recently learned about it. This reputation score. It's like a credit score that evaluates and analyzes one's social behavior. So if you're playing music too loud, or you're eating in the wrong places, violating traffic rules, jaywalking, making reservations at restaurants or hotels and not showing up. These are all things that are affecting people's social credit system, and there are privileges that are taken away if you don't have a good social credit score. And so that's something to look at. Community policing and social shaming. It's kind of the scarlet letter stigma, societal disapproval, social disapproval, friends, family, local government officials, whoever, publicly shaming people who do not choose to vaccinate themselves or their kids, or people that choose to speak out against vaccination. That is definitely, and that's been happening. We're seeing that right now with the when people say anything about that the social distancing is to question it, even if it's somebody that's not against it. That if they just question it, they're immediately just attacked by the social groups, and so that is that's something. The banning of verbal, written dissent of universal vaccinations, basically the suspension of free speech, martial law and violence. And martial law is defined as military government involving the suspension of ordinary law. Military or law enforcement may be authorized to use force or threat of arrest to coerce citizens to comply with an order to vaccinate. And we'll move on because I know I don't want to spend too much time on each one of these little things. But the thing to really think about here is, I'm not trying to fearmonger. I'm not trying to, whatever, as I've been accused of that. I'm saying, again, I base all of this on history. Every one of these things is either already happening to a small degree that could be amped up, or has happened in the past. And so this is just all, just to say, because people want to say, oh, it's a conspiracy. But man, we're talking about things that are happening, and that if escalated will happen. And what are we going to do about it? So what laws are already on the books that we should be taking a look at? Certain jobs demand vaccinations already, as we said. Kids are required to have vaccines in some places, like New York. We already mentioned that. There was some Australia details that were provided where kids can't get daycare if they don't have vaccines, and single parents or parents without work cannot get government assistance without vaccinations. So, food programs, food assistance programs, healthcare, unemployment, that kind of thing, barred. You cannot have access to that without having vaccination. Again, already happening in some places around the world. Travel vaccinations, this has been going on for a long time. Certain places around the world, you can't travel from certain countries without having vaccinations. And I linked to a page here that had a list of some of these locations, and it's kind of all the different, I guess yellow fever is sort of the thing, but you can take a look at that if that interests you. One thing that needs a lot more research, I was curious if there was somebody really knowledgeable about a lot of the organizations that would be involved in this process. What are the organizations that we need to study and know about to be on the lookout for, in terms of if a plan or an agenda of forced universal vaccination goes on? We got Gates Foundation, Rockefeller, World Health Organization were the things that were brought up, but there's more. We need to study this a little bit more. And let's see here. Let me do a quick check and make sure everything is okay here. Okay. Okay, thank you. I just wanted to make sure, because I can't see the feeds. I wanted to make sure that that the feed is still uninterrupted. Everybody can hear what I'm saying and see my screen. So that is what I wanted to do. So so the questions that I have for the organizations: what is the purpose and jurisdiction of the organizations? What's their mission statements? How much political and monetary power do they have to help impose universal vaccinations? Are they private groups? Is it some kind of government groups, or world government thing? What is it, and what kind of organizations are these? And so and again, here I'm most interested in verifiable facts, just to put that out there. I want to see the receipts. Let's stick to provable facts that in data that we can get our hands on, that's public, that we can read, and any theories about those facts we can make after we've assembled the facts. But before we start throwing out, again, we get into that conspiracy theory road, and I'm not impressed by that road, because that leads to nowhere oftentimes, in my opinion. And I've been exposed myself to most of them. Most of the different conspiracy theories and all that, and so I know people probably in the chat putting things and that kind of stuff. I'm just saying, we got to elevate the discussion. We got to elevate these things so that when we come to the table with this kind of discussion, we're coming to the table with some serious serious data to back up whatever it is that we're talking about. So it's not just opinions, it's not conjecture, it is facts that we have on our side. And so, my disclaimer on that. What local, state, federal, international, and human rights laws might this all violate if universal vaccinations were put into place? And the few things that we put here: United Nations Commission on Human Rights. We got a link to it here. There's another link later on in the documents to read. This is something to take a look at. This is sort of in terms of a document that is recognized by a number of entities, that lays out a bunch of points. It's a good document to be aware of, read through it, know about it, because in certain circumstances, arguments that are based on certain human rights issues can be supported by that document potentially. The right to inviolability. It's a term that I don't hear a whole lot in the U.S. and other countries. As I did a little research on it, it's pops up a lot more. Not to say it's not used here. It's just not. I never see anybody using that kind of terminology. But basically, the prohibiting of the violation, violence, infringement, desecration of one's body. That kind of thing. So I got a link to that. Then there's sort of a bodily integrity, the human right, and this is bodily integrity is the inviolability of the physical body, and emphasizes the importance of personal autonomy, self-ownership, and self-determination of human beings over their body. In the field of human rights, violation of the bodily integrity of another is regarded as unethical, infringement, intrusive, and possibly criminal. And I'm not going to read this whole blurb, but there's a little part that says the U.S. Constitution does not contain any specific provisions regarding the rights that one has with respect to his or her physical body, or the specific extent to which the state can act upon bodies. And that's the U.S. Constitution. That we're generally not trying to base our discussions there, because, and that's why we're looking at the United Nations Commission. If you're somebody that's very well read and or studied and kind of lawyerly and along that document, the argument can be made through it, but it's a very compromised and problematic document that I don't have time to get into that at this moment. But moving on, human rights, two key international documents that protect these rights are Universal Declaration of Human Rights, International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, which I'm not too familiar with. I have to study this myself. And further, the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. This was just from the article I was reading. So we have to study this stuff. We got to check it out and see if there's something there that we can use to defend ourselves. Moving on, ways to fight forced or coerced vaccination. Things like education, courts, resistance. So I put this is a list that came together within the group, and I reordered it a little bit to give it a little bit of logic. And so first and foremost, be prepared, and applying survivalism, or the practice of survivalism. And there's a discussion between preppers versus survivalists, and we encourage people to elevate themselves into the survivalist category. A prepper is a person who actively prepares for all types of emergencies, from natural disasters to civil unrest. They often acquire items such as emergency medical supplies, food, water, and the like. And so these are folks that might have they might have a specific plan. They have a lot of stuff. They might have a little bunker somewhere, or have some kind of shed or something that just has all these supplies just in case something happens. But many preppers do that out of fear, and so I don't encourage that. Don't prep out of fear. Prep out of preparedness, of being prepared. Just because it's fun to be it's fun to be prepared. I'm not scared. That's not why I prepare. It's fun to be prepared. So, but I know people that I would put in that prepper category, and they're just scared all the time. It's like they're always, I gotta, let me make sure I have I gotta have enough toilet paper in my bunker, that kind of stuff. And so, the difference here between the prepper and the survivalist I'm defining as person who tries to ensure their own survival or that of their social or national group by any means, rational and necessary, really by any rational means necessary, to update that, characterized by a survivalist mindset. So there's a mindset that goes with this being a survivalist, and I say it's advisable to adopt a survivalist mentality and practices which has a better chance at survival than a prepper who may not be able to deviate from a specific plan. The improvisational mindset, which generally includes training to remain calm and not panic, is an essential element of the survivalist. Survivalist also knows how to create and use primitive tools and skills. And so how to do first aid without maybe, you might not have access to a first aid kit or some kind of thing that you put together. But can you still do first aid? Do you know how to do that? Do you know how to make your own primitive kind of tools if you don't have access to things? And it's a mindset. So there's some things that you can study and learn, but once you adopt the mindset and it clicks in, then you enter and deal with the world like that. You're just walking around, and that's a part of you. And so you're basically prepared for whatever happens. You're better, you put yourself in the position to be the best prepared for whatever. That doesn't mean that something's not going to come up, catch you off guard or whatever. Everybody can be thrown for a loop, no matter how much prep you have or how much survivalist that you have, knowledge that you have. But you're putting yourself in the best position to survive, and to do so with a little bit of style. It's like let's survive in style. We don't have to be dealing with rolling around in the mud and trying to be scraping and everything. Like, let's having a little bit of planning can add a little style to your your doomsday your doomsday plan. And so moving on, so just things like having your own food and supplies, and being able to have things to make a fire and filter water, keep warm, keep cool, shelters. If you have to travel on foot, you want to make sure to have your dry socks, that kind of thing. That's just the mindset. Wilderness survival materials, maps. It's always good to have. I know people that still don't have maps in their vehicle. You should have an atlas. Why don't you have an atlas in your vehicle? If you need that, he's like, I've always had an atlas in there, and I've had to use it before. There's been times there was road closures where it would have taken hours and hours if we'd have just stayed on that main road. So I'm just like, man, we're going off, and just went on the back country roads and just used the atlas, because this was before GPS. You also don't learn how to read a map, please. Understand maps. Don't rely on GPS. That's not always going to be there. Learn how to use a map. I'm sure there's courses on it. I don't know, but that was one that always surprised me, that people can't use maps, because I'm just so, I don't know. It's like reading. It's like, well, how do if you're illiterate with a map, don't let that happen. Understand how maps work and use them, and have them, have them in your kit. So if you want more of my kind of mucus-free survival mindset, check out this blog post from several years ago. This was on an emergency car kit and mucus-free survival mindset. And so this was pretty comprehensive. I go through the things that are in and this was my old. I even have got some new kits now, but this was my old kit, and it's pretty comprehensive. While we're here, we'll take a look at. This is a picture of me when I was 15 in there. Yeah, I'm a little chunky guy there, and this was out up in Canadian boundary waters, and we just out in the middle. I mean, you way out there. There's no such thing as electricity out where we're out here. We got the big fire going and stuff. That's when I got my Eagle Scout. But then there's the list of all the different things that's in this particular kit. And so yeah, be educated, be trained, be prepared. All right, enough. I'll move on. I could talk about that a lot. I have fun talking about that. But the next level, so again, we're talking about ways to fight the forced and coerced vaccination. So this be prepared and survivalism, to me, it goes with all of the rest of these. No matter, some of these other ones go in different directions. I recommend this for everybody. Be prepared in the survivalist mindset. I recommend that for everybody. No one should skip that. But the rest of these are all circumstantial, and they're just ideas and directions that we could go. So private property and private membership associations, leveraging private property and rights ownership. Maybe if you may be able to combine that with private membership associations to enhance protections. There's ways where violators that try to come onto your land, they're just not allowed. That they can be charged with a felony trespass. So if you are somebody that owns land, or or you want to develop a private membership association, and you can put land in a trust, and these are the kinds of things that Michael Fathauer and I had talked about which we'll get to that in a second, on a podcast a while ago. But that's one direction, one thing. If you got the private property, depending on your country's existing laws and things, and the severity of how crazy stuff gets, that's one potential way to deal with things. Now we're getting into claiming a nationality. I won't get too deep into this because we have the podcast number 6. If you want to hear about this, I had a great discussion with Michael Fathauer about this idea of claiming one's nationality. If you are in the North America, in the area known as the United States or the United States Corporation, there is an option to do some interesting things there that situations kind of afford you an ability to do some things that you've probably never heard of before. So like I said, I'm not going to go too deep into that here. Basically, to just summarize it, unless you claim a nationality, you really don't have a nation. People think that they are part of whatever nation they're born. Like, okay, well, I thought I'm part of the United States. That's a nation. is the United States of America my nationality? No. And when they send the census around and say, okay, fill out all your information so we can track you, that you're not a United States of America nation. It's not your nationality. They have all these benchmarks that change all the time. They say, okay, are you black? Are you African? That can change. Are you African American? Are you white? And where's your, are you Latino? And so these are all constructions that are constructed in the courts, constructed by the laws. I mean, race itself, the concept of race, to a big extent, especially in the United States, is constructed within the court systems. And so it's a huge history to all that we can't get into now. But anyway, this is one way to basically take yourself out of the jurisdiction of an entity, a corrupting entity that is trying to oppress you and force you to do something outside of your will. And so this is one approach. And then you can start layering it, because then you claim a nationality, and if you are able to set things up a proper way, using trusts, using the proper chain of title, documentation, you can put yourself in a position where you're legally untouchable unless they come in with the tanks and the guns and just sort of force their will. But in terms of preparation and putting yourself in a position to avoid everything up to that, then this is a very interesting possibility. Next, we'll move to evacuation and relocation as an option. And I wanted us to list locations of different places in the world that might be good for relocation if you have to up and leave. And of course, as Joe noted in our discussion, you couldn't do that at this moment because air travel is shut down. A lot of borders are totally closed, and so that kind of freedom to roam around the world is inhibited right now, which we should really study and understand and look at that. But this just a name. We need to do a lot more research here. This is just some names of some different places that came up in the discussion. But I definitely want to get into some deeper study here, because you gotta study the local governments, look at what kind of laws are there for coming in and owning land, and tax situations, and private, how they view private property, all that kind of stuff. So, but it's good to have a place that that you might be able to go to if something goes down. What place? Who doesn't have a extradition order? Treaties and that kind of. I mean, that's something to be looking at and considering, and to consider. So we're gonna have to enhance this list quite a bit, but that's just getting in the mindset of that, and that goes back to the survivalist preparedness. If things go down and you got to leave right now, do you know where you would go? If you have to grab a go bag, grab a few possessions and start running, or jump in a vehicle and go immediately because something is imminent, is coming at you, do you know how to do that? Are you prepared? And where would you go? And so that's part of that discussion. Then this next one, I really probably should have put this next one up closer, but creating a nation kind of goes along with this claiming a nationality discussion, and we talked about this quite a bit in the group. So I'm not going to get real deep into this at this moment, other than just saying it's not as far-fetched and outside of the reach of a people to create their own nation, if you understand how the chain of title works and the claiming things, documentation, you understand those things, then you will understand that it's not some we give and imbue these so-called founding fathers with all this, like, wow, they created this nation, the nation builders and all that kind of stuff. When you know what it is and you investigate it and you study it, it's on, Then the last one is political uprising. And so this is for that to happen, you have to have education, organization, mobilization, and implementation. It requires a populace to be educated. Once you have a group of people that's educated and the populace is educated, then they can be moved into action and or rebellion. Without the education, it's not gonna work. And so you can rile people up and you might be able to mobilize people, but if there's not an educational program involved, it's just gonna ultimately fall apart and lead to ruin, as it has in many other circumstances throughout world history. And the educators involved and the organizers involved have to have a real strong understanding and analysis of power. It's one thing I don't hear a lot, especially in a number of communities that I associate with here. There's not a sophisticated understanding of power dynamics. What is it? How does it work? What kinds of power exist in the world, and how must they be used systematically to produce a desired outcome? So that's something that we all need to get deeper into and investigate. A couple books that I recommended along this particular line: Rules for Radicals, Reveille for Radicals, by Saul Alinsky. And regardless of how you might feel about his personal politics, the information in the books are a system. Is basically a system in the way that Mucusless Diet is a system. You don't have to believe it's going to work. You don't have to believe or anything or have faith in it. You practice. You just practice the methods, and it's going to do what it's going to do. And so, whether it's the member of the Nazi Party or somebody practicing Mucusless Diet that looks into these methods, they're going to work for whoever really uses them and is able to execute them properly. And finally, our list is small, but I encourage everybody that is listening to this, everybody that was in the group, check out this document and read through these links. Go to these links here and check things out. I tried to vet there's some things that were recommended that I didn't put on here because I didn't have time to vet it, and if it looked a little questionable to me, I just was like, we'll deal with that later. But I think we got enough things here to look at to just get started in this direction. There's one, I don't know much about this group, but this was recommended, a New York Alliance for Vaccine Rights Facebook group. I'm sure there's a lot of other groups that's out there to be checked out. This is an interesting book that I'm in the process of reading myself, but The Road to 9/11, Wealth Empire, and the Future of America. Some of the things that's discussed in there is happening now in terms of the United States, but there's also a world analysis of world power, and it's not a conspiracy theory type of thing. It's actually providing the documentation, the laws, the receipts to get a view of what he calls dark politics. These days, things like the deep state and all that kind of terminology just has been rendered useless by a lot of people that do not provide any kind of documentation. But in terms of dark politics and understanding that there are agendas underneath, there's whatever you see on TV, by the time it gets there, that is, that's what they want you to see. There's a lot that's going on behind the scenes and underneath the surface, and every once in a while you can find that paper trail, and and properly, which can help you properly prepare for what's happening. So then finally, good things to check out. We got the Law of Nations, Michael Fathauer. This is something he highly recommends. I'm in the process of reading it. You can download the full PDF for it just on this document. Universal Declaration of Human Rights. You got a link to that. You can read that. Then there's a friend of mine that sent a few of these that wasn't able to make it to the meeting, but I would read these. National Plan. Now listen, I mean, this isn't conspiracy theory. They're backing this discussion up with receipts. The National Plan to vaccinate every American. And I'm still going through all this stuff myself, but take a look at that. What can we learn from a pandemic? Tabletop exercise. And finally, does the coronavirus pandemic serve a global agenda? And so those are just a few things. I didn't want to overwhelm and have a million documents to read about and deal with. So that was what we talked about. That was the meeting. And so that's that. So I hope folks are still knowing that you got something out of that discussion, and that you can understand what I'm getting at.
That was as a black man with no nationality. and understanding that stuff, the things that you just went through are perceived by a lot of folks who might be listening. It's just boring. Oh man, this is not the stuff. But what we have to realize is all that the stuff that you were talking about is in place and help to get us here at this place. Right. So we give thanks to someone like Spira who kind of, geeks out on this stuff and really digs checking it out. And so when people think, oh man, this stuff is so boring, I just couldn't. That's why you're losing.
Yeah.
See, this is why you're losing, because you're not doing these kind of things to put things in place that takes this kind of time and this kind of effort to put in place and to understand all these things, man. So, I'm just hoping that people, stuck around and really listen. And I know it's hard, because it's hard to listen to that kind of stuff because, but this is why you're losing, because people had these things in place.
Right.
You dig? So we need to understand and think about the kind of work that we need to relearn ourselves. That takes effort. You have to want every day to get up and increase your knowledge every day. That's what your mission is now. And understand what's happening right now is the test. It's a test. They're testing you. They're seeing just how you're gonna react. Are you a good test taker? And so you follow along, and they do this, you do this. They do this, you do this. So everything is a test right now. They're testing you to see what this is about, or how you're gonna react, how you're gonna do this, what you're gonna do. Are you gonna get upset with this? So I'm a bad test taker. So I'm probably gonna fail this test. You dig? And I'm definitely gonna fail this test. But this is what all this is about. And you mentioned the talking about taking the vaccination. Now, the first thing that I think about, just being kind of old school gangster type mentality, is the first thing I would do. I mean, before it, if it started to happen, people would, I might run, or I might try to hide. Or, first thing I would do is look who's taking payoffs.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first thing I would do.
Yeah.
Like, could I come up with some money and pay somebody, pay some authority figure as a doctor, to say that I took the vaccination. That'd be the first thing I'd do. Then if I couldn't execute that, then I would have to think about some other things. But yeah, that would, because this place is the payoff capital of the world, man. As far as, a payoff, man, it's them bribes, man, you say bribe your way to freedom.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If you got some resources. So,
yeah.
So yeah, man, thanks for that, man, that you outlined that, and and kind of, I came in on the meeting kind of late, in and out, and I mean, y'all were in that meeting till about 3 a.m.
Yeah, well, I mean, we didn't. I mean, after we stopped it. I mean, that was long. I mean, it was almost an 8-hour thing, because we went. I think we stopped at like 4 in the morning. We started. It was 8. I mean, we about 8 to 4 or something. I mean, we didn't get off until it was like 4:30. So I mean,
last I remember, y'all were talking about the Moors and Noble Drew Ali.
Right.
So yeah, it was interesting, So.
But most of the people were gone by then. The main meeting was done by, I know most people were leaving, I guess, around
10:30.
Yeah, 11. I mean, it was folks that was hanging in there.
Yeah,
But yeah, then we kept. Yeah, we got on a roll. We had a little rap. we was rapping and doing some. We had a little hip hop off in there for a second.
Yeah. That's when I think I came in right at that point.
Yeah.
I didn't know what was happening. I was like, man, I was like, did y'all get my permission to use my beat?
Yeah.
I came in and I was like, what is this?
Yeah. Well, we had the rapping over the Brother Air beats.
That was interesting. So yeah, man. Other than that, man, we're right in the midst of this thing, man, and folks are not really sure about what they're gonna be doing next week.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm fasting. I'm trying to, clean my rectum out. I'm trying to align myself with my nature.
Right.
Man, what this, after I started doing a lot of research, a lot of things that you were sending me, and just research stuff where I could look at different data and just look at stuff, man, and man, is this the weakest virus in the history of human I mean, literally, this virus doesn't have enough strength to kill a fly.
Yeah, the numbers are.
Yeah,
it's like every time they start talking about it, you think they're about to say some crazy number of people died, and it's like it's just the number of people that would have died anyway.
But to be at pandemic rate, that means it's pretty serious now. And so I'm saying this is the weakest virus that I've seen, man. And I'm Like, come on, man. I mean, it was, the flu epidemic, 3-4 years ago was serious in this, and they didn't have it at pandemic rate.
Right.
They just tried to get everybody to do the flu shot.
Right.
But that was kind of like volunteer, and they got a lot of, deaf, dumb, and blind folks to go for that.
Right.
But this is another kind of thing. This is another kind of, and what I sense is that, when people talk about the New World Order and all these things that, is like mythic, nobody really knows, but, it's almost, I almost get the feeling that the New World Order are that entity that we think that is running things, that there is something, that there's a new group of people that are trying to overthrow them, like a real New World Order. I get the sense that that's trying, because I mean, when you talk about America and you look at the dumbest president of all time being in there, that's kind of like having like you have the mafia and you have groups like the skinheads, and then you have like the biker gang. Trump is like the biker gang.
Yeah.
He's kind of like that level, and that's why I'm saying it looked like it's something new in there, man, that's trying to do like a takeover, so I'm getting the sense that this is a real messy and confused thing that's going on.
Well, the fix is in,
That they really don't have any kind of ideas in terms of direction, but they it was like, well, let's do a test. Let's just see where everybody's at. Let's see how far we can go with this thing.
Right.
Let's see where we can go. And so the test is on, man. So they, the social distancing, and that didn't work, and so yeah, man, we gotta, but it's definitely none of this going back to the way things were.
Right.
See, that's what I'm trying to influence the brothers and sisters to understand, that we have to relearn ourselves and really get it together as far as making these plans, these things that you just outlined. That we're very serious. We're serious.
Yeah.
This is what me and Spira is doing. We're serious. We're doing this, regardless if you're there or not. We're doing this.
Right.
If it's just us, in the new location or whatever.
Yeah, right. If it's just just the two of us.
Just the two of us.
Up in the mountain somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah. We getting up. We're gonna change some things. In terms of you're not gonna hit a target that's standing still.
Right.
You did.
Right.
So.
And we watching some footage of here, just what you probably haven't seen on the news, because I don't think any of the mainstream or alternative news in the United States has done anything to talk about any of the resistance and the protests that are happening around the world, with people that are saying this is ridiculous. You're not going to dominate us. It's not going to be that easy. We're not just going to sit around and let you,
and
so.
I don't have a television, So I don't know what they're seeing, but if you're saying that they're not seeing this, we're seeing it.
Yeah. We're seeing it, and that's why we're showing. It's like you're showing you here, because
people aren't just laying down.
Yeah, not everybody's just laying down. Not everybody is just saying, "Oh, woe is me." I hope that I've heard this type of stuff. I hope that they don't take advantage of us. I hope that the government does okay. I think they're good. They have good hearts. They're good hearted. They wouldn't do anything to really hurt us. Like that level of naivete.
Churches, religions, all of them bowed down.
Yeah.
They supposed to be plugged in, their deities, and they just, they scared of getting sued. Yeah, okay. So, right. Everybody's not bowing down. And so, but you gotta prepare yourself, man. The survivors, like I was gonna say, the preppers and the survivors, please get in touch with mucusfreelife.com. I don't care who you are. Just let us know you out there and how we can get your contact information.
Right. Right. We trying to put it together, man.
We're trying to put it together. Yeah. We could take the best of all of that.
Yeah.
And make it into our own thing. So this is serious, man.
Yeah. And as we watch this, it should be noted, especially to the infiltrators in the room, that you'll notice that in my, I didn't say anything about trying to put together an army or horde, get a bunch of guns and weapons. You'll notice I didn't put that as an option. So, and that's for a lot of people, that's their first option. That's the first thing they think of is that. But my thing is, if you ain't gonna win that one. I mean, you don't. I don't care how many things you think you're gonna get. You ain't gonna win it that way. But I'm telling you, you will.
But there are gonna be those who do know about that. That know about artillery and all of that stuff. But that's not our focus.
Yeah. It's like that you deal with that when you deal with it, but that can't be some people. That's their first plan. It's like the first thing before they even talk about the food. They talk about how many guns and ammo they have in their bunker. And then they talk about the rest of it.
Well, but what I want to kind of resonate with people is that, regardless if they try to say, we can go back to the way it is, we open it up everything again. No. Mentally, spiritually, physically, we're not going back to that.
Right.
We're keeping our plans on the table to liberate ourselves in this way. We're not going back.
Yeah.
Because what they've done is showed us just how easy and how enslaved they have us. Close this, do that, and people have just, like you said.
That's been sickening to me. That's been sickening, man. The people just rolling over.
Nobody's protesting. Nobody's saying nothing. Everybody's going along. They get their little masks. And they walk around looking like fools. and the same people who wear masks, but they put dead animals in their mouth.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they're this mask that wouldn't even if you believed in it, wouldn't help you. It wouldn't work because the virus too small to go through it. So they walking around.
That's some Pierre Cardin, Calvin Klein shit. It's a style now.
Oh well, yeah, and where they make them all.
Yeah, the mask look.
Like,
you have your mask on, you do a little model. in GQ, the mask.
Yeah, right. They'll be like posing, have a little fancy little art on their mask.
Yeah,
And,
it goes with the outfit. So yeah, man, it's
chaos, and which we haven't mentioned that we normally have to mention as we watch all the chaos that ensues. The foundation of all of it is what? Pus and mucus eating.
yeah,
Eating
yeah,
a pus and
yeah,
mucus forming foods is at the foundation of
yeah,
all of this. And if you don't think
yeah,
it is, then
yeah,
put it to the test.
yeah,
Take
yeah,
pus and mucus out of the mouths and stomachs of every one of the people in this image
yeah,
and see if
yeah.
they'd be here doing this, behaving like this.
And the whole notion of work at home. So now, you know how people used to say, "Man, I leave my work at the workplace. Now my home is my home."
Yeah.
Now it's like they done invaded your home, like they got you.
Yeah.
Like they in your home now. It's like when you don't even think you working, you go outside your door, they be like, hey, where you going?
Right.
What you doing? Where you going? So they got people thinking like, I can work at home. Man, nobody want to work at home. Other than if it was your work.
Right.
For your project.
Right.
But it's home is home, and that's the way it used to be, where you had work, and then when you went home, you could separate. Now they gotten you to just fall in love with Big Brother.
Yeah.
Madly in love. You did.
Yeah. Man. And I think the thing
sickening, man. It's sickening, and this is what it looks like when you lose.
Yeah.
And so we understand that we lost. As a black man, we lost. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, how do we relearn ourselves and put something back together again? How do we rebuild? Never to lose again.
Right. Yeah, that's it. And then
never to lose again.
And for people watching, this image is this was posted March 15th. This is in France, in Paris, a rally. Thousands and thousands of people. Not one, and I do watch, because it's part of my study. So I stay abreast of, I try to stay abreast of world news and national news is sort of what I don't study. I don't really get into local news, but national and international news I check out. And I can tell you from the straight ahead CNNs and MSNBCs over to the Democracy Now! And The Hill and none of them is talking about the protest. I mean, I haven't seen it. Maybe somebody could find some random link that has like 50 views or something, but it's not a point of discussion.
What about the BBC?
They might be. I don't watch as much BBC stuff, so I can't say that. I would imagine that they probably do on there, perhaps, but I don't know, because even some of that I've watched a few things with BBC and I haven't seen it. But all the newspapers. I mean, nothing on the resistance. Nothing at all.
Back in the 90s, when I had a television, the BBC, I used to watch a lot of BBC, and it was a lot different than watching the local network. The networks in this country. It was, So I just thought they had pretty much kept up the same kind of agenda, but I don't know. They might have gotten bought out by Valcom or whoever, who knows?
Right.
Fox or whatever.
Yeah. Well, now so here's an example of the selective, and compare the protest that was just happening to this protest. So it looks like they've posted and talked about protest that this is the healthcare workers have been protesting in the United States because of a lack of personal protection equipment. And so you can take a look at compare this to the protest in Paris, so this is like a few people, and I'm like,
When you gonna get to the part where they're walking around passing out donuts?
Yeah, well, I think they already had. Well, that guy had some coffee, so you know, the revolution. You know, revolutionaries. You know,
Donuts and hot coffee.
La resistance. Yeah. You know, did you stop at Starbucks on the way to the rally?
Yeah, man, I can't believe you didn't get some donuts, man. You know, like what? You can't have no.
You better have some. You know, you better have that. You know, my latte better have soy milk in it.
So it's all about. See, that's like that real selfish. They only thinking about themselves. Oh, I don't have enough masks. We don't have enough gloves. You know?
Right.
That's what they protesting. You know, like they ain't protesting about nothing. You know. So yeah, you know.
Right. And you know, chaos, man, all over the world.
Well, you know, I just think that we have to.
Well,
understand.
I mean, it's always the chaos is always there. It's just now people are, like we say, people are paying attention a little bit now, like because it's because people that often aren't touched are now being touched.
Now being touched,
You know?
yeah.
So all of a sudden,
and they don't know what to do.
yeah.
All they know what to do is listen for orders.
Take orders. Yeah.
You know, tell us what to do.
Right.
That's America. Where, you know, and think about the people, you know, because there's a men or women, you know, the authorities, the police, the National Guards, the people who they have family.
Right.
They have, you know, but they would sit and bust a family member upside the head if they came up against them.
Right.
In a protest.
Yeah.
You know, that's how, you know, they see the little nephew on the protest line, they'll go bust his head and rationalize it by saying, well, that's my job. That's my job. That was my orders. That's my job. And so, you know, when you wonder how things can get so bad and how they can get so bizarro, is that you have zombies, man. You have zombies on there's just, you know, the citizens of America. Then the zombieism, man. You know,
Yeah.
I worked 30 years and you know, and so this at the end of your 30. A friend of mine finished 39 years. This is what you get. You're locked in your house. He just retired. Now he's real retired.
Yeah.
So this is what you bought into for 39 years. You know. So yeah, I mean it's heavy, man. It's heavy, but this is the kind of stuff that we want to address, and we've been addressing. We're preparing ourselves, you know, for just physiologically surviving. That's what we've been doing. That's what the whole practice of the Mucusless Diet Healing System is about. Is about physiological liberation. So we want to stay there because we're saying that these forces that's out here has never came up against that. Right. You know, these forces, they done came a long way, you know, and done fought a lot of different forces. Right. But they've never come up against that physiological liberation. And, you know, those people who have been really aligning themselves with their nature, they haven't came up against that. Right. So that's why we don't talk about the violence, you know, in that way, like with guns and missiles and gunpowder and all that.
Yeah, because we have You know, we got the secret weapon. You know, the real
Yeah.
secret weapon.
Yeah.
And,
we know that nature is gonna win this one. And
so, and put it like this. So a lot of folks that have practiced the Mucusless diet, you've experienced walking into a room, and this is part of the social thing. This is part of the social reorientation that you have to go through as a practitioner of the Mucusless diet. You walk into a room and people find out that you're not eating everything else. They find out you're a vegan or you're practicing Mucusless diet or whatever, however you identify yourself. And all of a sudden the vibe changes. The vibe shifts. The way that they look at you, the way they, that. Now imagine that. So that's just one that you could be. I mean, you can be in a room of 50. You could be in a room of 10 people, 50 people, 100 people, and one of you can disrupt 100 of them emotionally. Just you being there. You didn't do nothing. You didn't tell you didn't say nothing to nobody. You didn't tell nobody what they should or shouldn't eat. You just sat down and you messed everybody in the room up. Imagine that on a scale where instead of just one person, just you. What if it's 100? What if it's 200? What is it? 5? Now you talking. That's the energy that can reverberate through the entire world.
Sincere cleanliness just wipes away quadruple filthiness.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean? When you're about cleanliness and you're sincere about not this just I'm just trying to get in shape and but I'm talking about the whole spirit of your whole type of walk. Just your walk is about cleanliness. Everything that you're trying to do in life is about elevation. Even now, with what's going on, we supposed to be thinking about how we can serve others.
Right.
First.
Right.
Because it's a backwards thing. Take care of yourself. That work yourself up out of bootstrap type of mentality comes out of that. You have to look out for yourself first. And in mucus and pus world, you do. That's the way that's why you're here. That's why you're right now. See, because that's what they want, is every man for himself type of mentality. That's that mucus and pus mentality. Every man for himself. Hit the old lady over the head if she try to grab the toilet tissue. You had it first.
Right.
You had it first. Every man for himself. All that.
Right.
All that. With the religious people, the religious people, they really punked out. As far as I just man, y'all really done punked out. As far as just looking at what's going on and people telling me they're religious and they got a building someplace, that don't really mean nothing. We see it just what it don't mean. A piece of property.
Right.
It's a house of God. Oh, this is the place where right. You in it by yourself every Sunday now. You see, so I look at the religious faction of this country as they punking out so big time, but it's to be expected. I mean, they've been very predictable anyway. I don't really care what they think of how I'm talking about them, because if you plugged into the Almighty and the Creator and the deity of all deities, you're supposed to be able to handle this.
Right. Yeah.
You're supposed to be able to take care of this. This is just like little surface irritation.
Right.
This ain't nothing. Y'all, you plugged in. I don't see it. I see them bowing down. They at home doing online service. And I mean, man, get out of here, you know. So it's like, they punked out. So, you know, yeah, man. No respect. I have no respect for you, So
Yeah, let's see if there's some questions. Let's take a look at the. I imagine this is an active chat. I have a feeling that things could have
oh
got
yeah.
interesting in this chat.
I know the religious people, they probably just left, or they want
They probably ain't even on here. So,
they,
like I said,
they don't even come to let's say they don't even come to our links. They be like, oh no,
yeah, they're like, I
no
don't
part of
want, I
them.
don't like,
Those people who eat fruits and green leafy plants, they're dangerous.
right, right. Let me see if I can get this chat kind of hooked up here. So we'll take a look at what some of you guys are talking about.
You gonna read the chats or is it gonna be
Well,
live?
I got it right now. I sort of have a crude image of it. I didn't get a chance to
Oh, okay. Yeah.
to crop it properly and all that kind of stuff. I just kind of threw it up here, but people can see it. As we'll just kind of go through and won't address every single thing on here, but just kind of see what's going on, say what's up to everybody, and what's going on, Rachel. I see Rachel's in the house.
Right up.
And Q's in the house. He said he likes the chalky graphic. I appreciate that. Yeah, I threw that together real quick today. Then Yusuf says that people don't take diet seriously. They eat for taste, not nutritional value or its cleansing values. I give up talking. I'll just listen. Let them die for all I care. So that was before we started talking. That was posted up. See, we got greetings from Arlene. What's going on, Darcy? Obacon, what's happening?
What's up?
And Joe G, what's happening? We got health is wealth. What's going on? Says so much fear going on. That's it, man. A lot of fear going on. And Laura says greetings from Barcelona, brothers and sisters, warriors of love. What's going on? And in the M Mari Sai, if you got a question, you could go ahead and post that down there now, and when we get down there, we'll take a look at it, say what's up. And Lee says, greetings, Professor Spira Brother Air. Oh, this was where, do you think it's possible to survive doing busking on the streets? And
He answered that one.
yeah, we pretty much answered that one, And so we got what's going on, Violent Vicky, and Vincent says, let her rip. And let's see. There's someone saying Edgar Casey days to resist all contagion without immunization. You must eat celery, carrot, and lettuce together every day alone or part of a meal. It will help create immunity in the blood.
Yeah. Yeah. You sure you're on the right channel? Like you got the right people tuned in.
Well, I'm saying this one's gonna go a little farther. We this talk had some legs, so we gonna get probably some folks in here that aren't really don't know exactly where we're coming from, but give them a chance to
All right.
to be educated. And while let me fix the screen, I'm trying to get Brother Air on here as well. So all right, so we'll keep Looking through here. Heather says they create a situation and have a solution so the masses will beg for it. Yeah. Later in the, okay, blah, 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 blah. And somebody says Spanish flu survivor says she was given a half teaspoon of baking soda before the first meal daily and a glass of water 1 to 2 hours before breakfast. Only her family survived, and they did this daily. So that was that's NESQ. So
well, that's another thing is ask, like, what's in it? Like, let the doctors break it down. Like, what's in this vaccination? Break it down for me. Tell me exactly what's in something that posed to prevent me from getting something that I don't have right now. So, make some sense of it, make some sense of it for me in terms of breaking it down, like what's in this vaccine. See, and that's a lot of times people don't ask, and they really don't care, and because it's not like you have the virus, but they're giving you something that's supposed to prevent you from getting something that you don't even have. It's so ridiculous, man. It's pure idiocy. I mean, just.
And so I guess we haven't made our, we practice something called the Mucusless Diet Healing System by Professor Arnold Ehret, and we have the same message that we've always had. And so people in the past would say that we're, extreme, or that we're, we don't want to live our lives and have fun because we're too concerned about health, and and that's the kind of stuff that we hear for years and years. Now all of a sudden, those same people that's saying that, why you walking up the aisle with 50 bags of toilet paper? What happened to living your life? What happened to you only live once? You wanted to make fun of us because we're trying to get it together, because we find that the cleaner you are, the less likely you have susceptibility to anything, whatever you want to call it, whether it's a virus, whether it's cold air. People have.
And we've always told you to wash, but wash your ass.
Wash
out,
the colon,
not your hands.
Yeah.
I mean, you're gonna wash your hands. People just naturally wash their hands anyway. But we're talking about doing some washing that you aren't being told that is good for you, and that's cleaning out your rectum.
Right.
So that's been what we've been preaching. And so when a virus like this little punk virus, let's call it the punk virus, and when you clean yourself up, you're not going to catch nothing like that. And believe me, even if somebody did die, they ain't died from that. They didn't die from that. Believe me, they didn't die from that virus. That's a lie. And it's all based on the diagnosis. Whoever's calling the diagnosis is the one saying that, oh, he died from coronavirus, 19. He died. That's all based on somebody diagnosing. But the liars, the liars are now the source of the truth.
So then what do you say, just to get your reaction to, so it's elimination is real, right? So we have to establish that, because people are getting sick, and people are drowning in mucus and dying. Yeah. So when somebody pushes back and saying, well, because this is going to get personal, because people's family members, elders, people are going to die. And it's going to, and the authorities are going to blame it on the
on
coronavirus.
on what they want to blame it on. Okay, but our diagnosis is just what you were saying, drowning in your own mucus and waste.
Mm.
So, but that's not the authority. I mean, everybody can have their own diagnosis.
Yeah.
That don't mean that it's right, or that don't mean that they died from that. I mean, death is death, and when they die, yeah, they are dead. So, somebody could say, well, they died from, well, it was a heart attack. Well, they had a massive heart attack. Well, we know it wasn't a massive, it wasn't their heart. It was they were attacking their heart.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying? They didn't have a heart attack. They were attacking their heart.
Mm.
So it's all about perception and who's talking about who's saying the diagnosis. We would diagnose a heart attack as you're attacking your heart. You dig? By the things that you've eaten over the years.
Yeah.
So, I mean, all that, man, don't listen to none of these folks talking about diagnosis. That has, that's they're liars. They're liars. And we cannot listen to the liars and make them the source of truth.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody dying of no virus, not of this virus, of what they're claiming. Ain't nobody dying of that.
Let's see. Miri Sai asked, Professor, how many months do we take mucusless food? Should I take this food for a lifetime? Thank you, Professor Spira. So, so first you get access to the book, Mucusless Diet Healing System. There's a lot of resources, where you can go in because you want to understand the system and how to line up all of it, because food is like just one part of it is what you eat, but how do you eat it? When do you eat it? Why do you eat it? When do you not eat it?
How you eliminate it.
How you eliminate it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's we always are talking about the system, which is what we do. And no one else does, because we're the only ones talking about system like this, applying the systematic methodology for transitional purposes. That's what, that's what's happening. And so you want to transition. I mean, I can't say that exactly, give a recommendation for you, for where you're at, what you're going through. You study the material and get on whatever you do, get on the transition. Wherever you enter the transition at, get on that. We always talk about lemon juice and distilled water enemas. That's sort of our little, as Brother Air said the other day, innovation.
Yeah,
and,
our gift to the world.
Yeah, that's our gift to the world. And so that's what's happening. So I know from the earlier mess, it looked like you was going through elimination, like you maybe had some. Some what kind of like red, itchy kind of eyes type of stuff and all that kind of stuff. It's inflammation, constipation, cellular constipation. You just got to start cleaning. Just got to start cleaning that body out, and and going through this process, going through the elimination, as we say. And
you got to have discipline.
Yeah.
That's a little something that you have to acquire, and you have to work on discipline in your life, discipline, not just with what you put in your mouth, but just discipline all around your whole life that surrounds your life. Discipline.
Yeah. Yeah. And see, okay, we'll keep going here. Moonshine James says we need to create community gardens if we haven't started already. And so that's all.
Yep.
All good.
Yeah.
And let's see. Then Vibe says, you really think there's a chance to fight against this, meaning the government and the powers that be? Yeah. Or I wouldn't have made this video.
We're not fighting.
Yeah, we
anything.
ain't fighting. Yeah,
We're gonna let them fight themselves.
yeah. As you said, getting out the way.
Just get out the way.
We're fine. This is how we get out the way.
Yeah.
You know, this is how you step aside, take yourself to to a different level, to a different space, and create your own little safe haven and let the killers kill the killers.
Let the crazies be crazy.
Yeah. Crazy be crazy. Let the killers kill the killers.
Yeah.
It's gonna take themselves out. That's that judo. You just get out the way. Just get out the way. And let's see what else we got going on here. Alex says, greetings from Cambodia. Unlimited fruit here. Good place for a mucusless lifestyle. Also in these times. That sounds good.
Yeah, man.
Fruit,
we got
Cambodia. We're gonna add that to the list.
We got some. Cambodia. Is that part of Vietnam? And
it's over. That Asia. That area.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly where it is, but that Asia and Rachel says you got an atlas in her car. So that's talking about the.
Man, we used that atlas one night. I mean, Spira ain't bull crapping you about that. He knows how to use the map. Oh man.
Brother Air was getting kind of nervous. He was getting scared as we was driving through. Be like, just
we was in
back.
Ku Klux Klan. We was in Ku Klux Klan territory in the backwoods where the KKK started.
Yeah.
Like, man, he reading the map, man. It's like, okay, one thing I knew, I said, well, you can read the map, but this car ain't stopping.
Right. Right. Let's see. This is Raven said, jurisdiction and standing is everything. Trusts are key. And probably in reference when we were talking about trusts and that a little earlier. Let's see. Moonshine said, funny, I started planning all of this mentally 5 years ago and fell off the path. Time to get back on the bicycle. Yeah. Get back on. Let's see, Mountain Builder Bay. I'll be posting lots of videos this year and beyond on the gardens. And I've been planning last handful of years, the community gardens. And Amy said that in New York, people can get out of vaccines if they homeschool. And I mean, I had heard, I don't know because I'm not in New York. I've read different things so I looked up a couple things where it said maybe you could get away with it, but then I'd seen other things where they kind of make it hard to do it. Regardless, it's wrong. Whether that's the one way that you could stay in New York and not vaccinate your kids is homeschool. They can still come for you. You're not that far away from having some kind of. But I thought I'd read an article a while back that where it wasn't that easy. Like you couldn't just get out of it, but it's all bad. That whole direction. That whole way of thinking about things. And Vibe says general public will want vaccinations. All who speak against them is considered conspiracy. And well, not everybody. It's not who speaks against it. Not if you don't want it. It's like that's right. I'm not conspiring to say I don't care. I'm not trying to say it's this or that or whatever. Like I said before, if you want it, then go ahead. But don't force me. Don't force me to put it in my body.
Shoot up. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
tie the rubber around your arm and shoot up. Do your thing.
Right.
You
Let's
know, don't
see.
invite me to the party though.
Yeah. And Steve Prusek says, "What's up?" He says, "This is great. Thanks, guys. What's going on, Steve? Holding it down out there in Cali."
He's the 21st century juice man.
Yeah. Yeah.
My
Yeah.
cat.
Yeah. And let's see. Purple Haze says, "People got to face the reality of it." And Lee says, "Hey guys, I quit my corporate job. I'm thinking about starting to busk on the streets here in Portugal. Hopefully, in a few months after the COVID-19 madness wanes down."
But what would you say? This was Lee?
Lee Chimpanzee is the name.
Lee, man, what timing did you have? Your timing was really bad, man. To want to be a buster now, you know, it's like, oh man. But good luck with that. And yeah.
And Lee asks, "Should I be prepared to deal with cops in case they approach me for whatever reason? I heard someone say we have the right to remain silent when cops talk to us." Well,
I mean, if cops, you know, like sometimes the cops can be real decent people. I mean, I've had good experience with cops, and I've had terrible experience with cops. So you just have to, however they come, if they come, you know, in peace and decent, then treat them decent. If they, you know,
right,
they're just, you know, off the, you know.
Yeah, it's good to know your local ordinances and laws, whatever country you in. You know, if they, you know, look at noise ordinances. Sometimes they'll try to, if they'll try to put something in the noise ordinance if they don't want buskers or something. You know, they'll try to fit something in.
They'll make it up. They'll make it up because most of them don't know the ordinance.
They don't know it. Yeah.
They don't know it, so they'll make up something. And I've had a couple of guys turn around like, "Oh, okay." I mean, they'd be like, "Oh, okay." I was like, "This is the ordinance, and this is," and then they'd be like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So
they just didn't know it. They wasn't too proud to say that they didn't know. Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. So as far as just remaining like not saying anything to them if they come up, I don't recommend that because then you know they'll be like, "Oh, you're being belligerent," and they'll find a way to arrest you and
you know,
kind of stuff. You know,
I've always kind of operated on being able to question police, and I've been in their ass. I mean, I get right there to the edge, you know, right there where I won't cross the line. But boy, I get close to the line.
yeah, he does.
You dig? So, you know, you can always ask questions. That's your right to ask questions. And I've been doing it a long time. I've never been arrested. So, but man, I've been in some cops' ass. It's like,
and we cool with the ones that's cool with us, you know, because I said, when I came up here to Columbus, it was like a different country because the police would consistently give tips. I mean, they walking over, and you thinking they about to shut you down, and they reach in their pocket, grab $1, and put it in and walk away. You'd be like, "What?" You know, you say it ain't Kansas anymore. You know.
Yeah, man.
A whole different, vibe.
Customer service up there. You know, their whole thing is customer service and involving themselves. Like matter of fact, Columbus cop told me. He said because we choose to. He said, "You're never going to say hello to a cop." You know? He's like, so we have to engage. You,
right,
you
know? The community, kind of policing model. Yeah.
So, you know, they're very engaging. And, you know, so I've had good experiences up there where one bicycle cop, he said he played drums. He's like, "Man, can I play, man?" I said, can you really play? He's like, man, he said, I got an electric drum kit at home, man. I'll be practicing. And so he played, man, and all his buddies was taking, all the police buddies was taking pictures. And he could play, little rock beats and stuff. And, and me and him became really good friends because I would see him all the times I would come to the big festivals up there. And he would always come over and play a little bit and talk. And, so you can create good situations with police where they kind of look out for you, some of them. Then there's some it's only like a handful of them that really are just really hate you. They just hate to see you.
Yeah.
They hate to see you show up. They just hate you, and there ain't nothing gonna change. They just hate you. There's a lot of that racism, because the one thing that I can say, I don't never have no problem with black officers, ever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't never have no, unless it's one of their captains or something telling them to do something. But the thing is, with the white officers, they just get it in their head, like to just mess with you. They haven't had a complaint or anything. They just will do it. Black officers don't do that. They don't like, unless their superior is telling them to do it. That's the differences that I've noticed. And I've really noticed that. Like, black officers could give a rat's ass about it. They'd be like, shh. But if their superior tell them to mess with you, then they'll do it.
Yeah. It's let's see. Randy said, did we mention the possibility of finding doctors that will provide fake immunization papers? That could be another way around all of this.
Well, yes, we mentioned that. Yeah, we mentioned that, and that was the first step. That was my first step. If it happens, and they want to go in that direction, that's my first step. And I would advise anybody that would be your first step.
Well, I wouldn't, just because they can set the law up in such a way where if you get caught, like if you have try to create a fake driver's license. See how far, if you get pulled over and you give a cop a fake driver's license, how far is that gonna go? You'll be in jail so fast.
This is a shot. This is something that they can't track on you. In terms of.
They will, but that's the whole point. One of the articles that I recommend that everybody read, that's again, they got the receipts, the plans to have a.
Well, you get the receipt. You get the receipt with that.
No. What I mean when I say receipts, I'm talking about. I'm not just making this up as a conspiracy theory. I'm saying there's documented proof of an agenda and efforts to put together something that I'm trying to remember the wording that they use, but the basically putting together like a bureau that tracks all of that.
And I'm willing to fight that bureau. I'm willing to.
Yeah, well, all I'm saying,
I'm willing to try to trick them.
I'm saying good luck, and I'll get your bail money ready, because I'm telling you, if they get to the point where they're going to start imposing something like that, they're going to have they already have stiff fines for putting together fake documentation.
I'm going in that.
So I'm saying good luck. I'm saying good luck, and yeah.
It's not gonna be like, I'm not gonna. I mean, then after, if I can't, and then I mean, in the way of
the way to do it now the way to do that properly is to as a lot of parents in these states that where they force the children to get vaccines, in the states that allow for medical medical things to get out of it, if you found a doctor that would be willing to sign off, and you went that,
Yeah,
you know,
I
you
would look.
sort of,
I would look down that road too.
yeah. I mean,
mean,
that,
it-
well,
it-
that's
there's nothing I wouldn't turn
yeah.
over.
I mean, that's a safer, you know, I'm just saying for the benefit of the listeners, that would be a safer approach.
Yeah, I mean, there's
than,
nothing I wouldn't turn over. I would try to go in every direction that I could go, but
yeah, yeah.
same time, I'm willing to go in that direction too. So,
And let's see. See, moonshine. What's this? Next. Oh, what happened? Next month after payday, I need to order that Mucusless bundle. Yeah. See if there's anything else happening.
you got that on sale or something? Isn't there some kind of sale going
Well,
on?
the e-course right now, if you look down in the description, you can get the e-course and use the coupon code to get over 50% off. You can get $100 off
Wow.
the e-course right now.
That's a
So
lot. That's a
yeah,
lot.
so if and this is sort of the the pandemic sale, the hysteria sale.
Yeah.
I'm opening it up because I've been kind of doing it on and off, and there was a couple people that was asking about it again, so I opened it back up. It was like, all right, so yeah, jump on that if you're interested in the e-course, because it's definitely gonna be going back up. And
Yeah,
so
I've heard good things from people who really get a lot out of the e-course. So
yeah.
that's good. I know you put a lot of time into that, and I'm real glad that that's there. And like I say, a lot of folks I know, they tell me, man, that e-course, man, it's like, yeah, good, man. It's helping, so.
Yeah. And say what's up to Celia. Celia Wade says what's up. And
Celia, what's going on? She's always there for us, man.
Yeah.
She's always there. We can knock on her door and get a salad and some juice,
Right.
when we're running,
Right. And Obakan says, where are all the quote light workers and quote yogis who are supposed to be conquering fear?
Yeah, man, please. They along with the folk,
church people.
with the church people, closing the churches and all that. They ain't into nothing.
And we got Danny Michael. What's going on, Danny? He says the unnatural is a foreign body on a natural planet. Hold on to the natural way while the unnatural is being eliminated.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Danny Michael, my man. I know he's up to some good somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah,
definitely. And we got Hanif Smart in the building. Said he says throw the ones in the chat. He's trying to get everyone to do the ones.
He's another instigator.
Instigator, yeah, trying to start stuff.
He's trying
to start stuff.
He's an instigator, man. He wants us to go up against all of his people, all of the folks, he thinks that we supposed to be in these debates.
Yeah, and I don't know if Honey, if you realize, man, it looks like your picture looks like Josh Strange, man. That don't look like you on your YouTube picture. Looks like you got a picture. I don't know. I mean, it just does not look like you. It looks like one of Josh's pictures. I don't know how that happened. But let's see what else I think. Okay, we at the end of it now. And Moonshine says, how about saltwater cleanse for the colon? Do you recommend doing that maybe once every 2 weeks? I'm not a
I'm not a
saltwater cleanse
saltwater.
cat. No, I don't.
No,
Not into that.
no. Salt. You. Only time you use salt is when you salting your steps with the snow.
Right. And what's going on, Noelle? She says she needs to fly to Ohio. They won't stop our important get together. Talking about the Air Day celebration.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we still are scheduled.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. But as we said, the survivalist mentality, we take it. We will figure it out as we go, because it's one of them things where we'll have to see how it rolls. But like you said, we might have to buy the ticket and then tell you the secret location after you buy the ticket.
Yeah.
Be like, okay, we're gonna be here. So
that's what I was gonna say to Danny Michaels, man. I'm hoping that he can come on out this year, man. I'm hoping that he might can make it on out. You
know. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So.
And
belated Earth Day to Asha.
Yeah.
My man.
Happy Earth Day.
Down in the ATL.
Yeah.
So his Earth Day was yesterday. So belated, but we got it in. I don't know how old that brother is, about 50, 60? He has the wisdom of a 50 or 60-year-old. He might be like, I don't know, in his 20s, but yeah, he's a year older. So.
And how's your you want to rant about the toilet paper? We haven't heard the Brother Air rant on the toilet paper and the.
Well, I mean, it just was. What was the deal, man? I mean, the toilet paper, like. I mean, I just wasn't getting it. I wasn't getting like a pandemic. Go out and get toilet paper, okay? What the hell is what's the connection there, man? I mean, like, I probably use more toilet paper than the average people.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't get that, man. But it's just social engineering, man. We want you to assign value to toilet tissue. And that's what you do, It's like, it's a test, man. They're testing you. They got you doing all these exercises and
like this is like exercises. It's like I mean, because man, he's running in here, man. This looks like supermarket dash.
Do you take tests? Are you a good test taker? I know you're a good test taker, Professor, but I think you failed this test because you said you had 30 rows.
Well, I was saying, I'm not in their class, It's like,
right.
I don't have to take their test. Yeah, I was laughing about that because people talk, they running out of, and I know some people that's running out, that didn't hoard it, and so they were actually running out of toilet paper, can't get it, and so I'm actually probably gonna give them some of my stash. Cause I got I got 30.
I just never can make the connection, but I started looking at this whole thing as the testing of America. Like we're gonna test. We're gonna see just what we can get away with. And just how far you would go.
Yeah, toilet paper, paper towels, and water. That was.
I've been seeing a lot of water. I haven't seen no shortage of water. But toilet tissue I have, man. It's been like ridiculous, man.
Yeah. And like I was saying, I had when I counted how many things of toilet paper I had about 30 rolls is what I have. And that's just what I always have. I haven't bought toilet paper in in probably a month, you know, and I still have 30 rolls left, you know, because that's
Right.
how I roll. Because to me, it's just cheaper, and it makes more sense to just have it instead of buying it all the time, you know, every week or something. That don't make sense to me. So I just have it.
You still got that kind of thing ingrained in you from Boy Scout. Be prepared.
Right.
So,
I mean, to me, it just
so,
makes sense.
yeah.
I mean, that just to live like that just makes sense. I don't know. It's hard for me to, like, you know, I don't want to understand other ways to live. That's just be prepared, you know. And then you don't have to associate yourself with any of this. I didn't get caught in none of this weird stuff.
No.
The closest I was doing something for somebody else when I was exposed to any of it, and I still, the places I choose to go, I still wasn't crazy. Like, I wasn't standing there waiting for hours or nothing.
Right.
You know, and
I did it once when the stores were crazy. All I had in my hand was waters and lemons. I just put it down and walked out. I was like, I'm not doing that. I'm not standing in line for this.
Right.
You know, and I had lemons at home, but I had a big old bag that I'd fixed up, and I hadn't been to the front of the store. I hadn't even seen the lines or anything. I just went to the produce, and I fixed up this big old bag of lemons, man.
Wait, I hope this don't get I be trying to avoid the copyright and all these and demonetization, man. If you do all these recent videos I've been doing, it just been immediately demonetized by YouTube. They're like, oh, you're talking about something real. Click, you know, click. No ads will be on your thing. Click, you know, no, you ain't making money on that, you know. And the problem with that sometimes is they further restrict the when they know they can't make no money on something, they further restrict the organic release of the video, you know. And so that's why I try to, when I can, you know, I try, like you'll notice I didn't use the coronavirus word on this title of this one. I just was like, I ain't even, you know. And so I'm like, let me see if I can find a title that they won't immediately get rid of. But this video looks interesting.
People are fighting over toilet paper. Well, people do hoard other things as well, like hand sanitizers and surgical masks. But those things actually help prevent disease infection. So why toilet paper?
So I'm sure in that moment of time, as people are stocking up on toilet paper because they fear it's not going to be accessible to them,
This is Dr. Diana. She has 35 years of practice and experience in psychology.
When people buy a product, they're in a panic mode, and they're buying a product in excess, it makes them feel safe. It makes them feel that they're taking care of themselves, they're in control, they're combating whatever the enemy is.
When people are stressed, their reasoning is hampered, so they look at what other people are doing. If others are stockpiling, it may lead another to engage in the same behavior.
They're doing it. I better do it.
Some people are more susceptible. Well, if the Jones are stocking up on toilet paper, maybe it's more important than I think. I better stock up on toilet paper. There gets to be what we call a mob psychology to it, where everybody's sort of jumping on the toilet paper bandwagon without stepping back and saying, hey, wait a minute, does this make sense? Or whatever, because that's what mob psychology or group think is. It's when everybody starts to think as one and nobody steps out of the group and takes an individual look at the situation to come up with an individual response or opinion to the situation.
While Dr. Diana cannot be 100% sure on what specifically triggered the toilet paper craze, but she wouldn't discount the drama over the internet factor.
Yeah, so that's so there you go, Brother Air, breaking it down a little psychology for you there.
I wish in my heart, I wish that the public was the public that consumed all that toilet tissue, I wish they were going through those kind of eliminations to use that much. That's a wish of mine.
Well, a wish of mine would be that that type of focus on and you know, that they have a little bit of that for getting the Mucusless Diet book, getting some lemons. Like I said, way at the beginning of all this, what the thing that should be, if this was a rational society with some rational sort of reaction, all that, you wouldn't be able to find an enema bag. You wouldn't be able to put your hand on a lemon. You know, you wouldn't be able to get any oranges. I mean, all produce would just be gone, and you would, and we would be out of luck. So lucky for us, people are buying toilet paper and not lemons. So we and not enema bags, so we can get as many lemons as we want and all the produce that we can get.
I would love to see the people use that much toilet paper to go through their elimination. That would be like, you know, job well done. You know, like mucus-free life is on the case. We're getting people to, you know, have bowel movements and to eliminate. And that's the kind of craze that comes from practicing the mucusless diet, that kind of frenzy. You know, that's the way it should have looked, you know.
Right.
Like people are getting into the mucusless diet healing system.
Yeah, like, you know.
and they're buying.
Yeah. It was like 1 million subscriptions to Professor Spira Mucus-free Life LLC. And you know, that's on the Mucusless Diet on the top 10.
We can't keep toilet tissue in stock, man. They're going through eliminations and doing these enemas and the
water sanitization people are on strike. They can't handle it. It's so much.
The sewer companies are backing up. And it's just, you know, that would be something that we would love that.
Yeah, we could get behind that.
Yeah,
and,
get behind that
in terms of a frenzy. And yeah,
it's bad.
Yeah, like we say, it's bad.
It's bad.
It's bad, and you know, it is bad.
So I mean, you know, we hope that folks, you know, try to figure this thing out, and I, you know, my thing is I really want people to understand, even if it tries to say, well, we're going back to, you know, I really want people to use this as you know, like a reason to draw the line in the sand.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's like, come on, man, let's get serious, man. I want to hear your ideas. I want, you know, as far as liberation and independence and really putting ourselves back together. You know, let's go for it, man. You know, and so yeah, man. I mean, it's serious, man. It's serious, and I'm just trying to, you know, control what I'm putting in my mouth, man. That's where I'm at, man. And
Danny said he has a nice quote. He said people subconsciously know that they're in prison. Toilet paper is a high commodity in prison. That's some good analysis. That's right.
What they trade? What's the commodity? Cigarettes or toilet tissue?
It's like, man, I give you two rolls of toilet paper in trade for let me get a box of, you know, carton of cigarettes.
Yeah,
you know, let me get your ramen noodles and
with the toilet tissue. Yeah. So yeah, but you know, at least I know, like, my neighbors on both sides of me. If I need some toilet tissue, I can go over their house because I know they done hoarded it.
Right.
I know they have. You know, so yeah, man. You know.
And see, here's a question. Ziggy asked, "What's your opinion of Dr. Leah Africa passing?" 74 and vegans dying earlier than the meat eaters.
The Leah was what,
74.
Was it? Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
You know, we didn't talk much about him when we do these videos. He really didn't. I mean, he really wasn't somebody that we really talked about. I don't think Spira. You never went to his lectures or anything, did you?
No. I mean,
Okay,
I've watched him. I watched him on YouTube,
right? Yeah,
in
yeah,
later
yeah.
years, but he never was a part,
Yeah,
kind
he
of
was
a part
kinda-
of my, my formative years of practicing the diet. I never really got into his stuff.
He was kind of like the flavor of the month back in the late 80s, 90s.
Yeah. I mean, his books, it was like folks that were kind of into, the black bookstores and the and that kind of stuff. His books were always there.
Right,
And,
right. Yeah, the black consciousness type of movement, and
so it was
so I mean,
but I had never got too deep. I kind of had talked to folks that had analyzed this stuff real heavy, and sort of, so I sort of would get a feel of
he
his
knew all about
perspective,
Arnold Eric, and he respected Arnold Eric because he knew that I was into Arnold Eric, and he had a lot of respect for me. Maybe too much respect. But I mean, I was sorry to hear that the brother passed, and he definitely brought something to the table, man. He had a lot of historical fact about Roman mythology, or of how food started, and hot dogs and stuff like that. He would break that down into the sexual orientation of food, of doing the Roman empires and stuff like that. He would break it down like that. So that's why I liked him on that end, But once again, man, none of them cats had a transitional diet, or I'm like something that was said on how to do this thing. They just had a lot of information, and you kind of had to just pick on, through his book, and just kind of pick a section, or do some things and try this, and but Arnold Eric was the only one with a real system on how to transition off of pus and mucus, how to logically do it. So
so it's the same message that we have for everybody, as far as just transition. I don't know much about the details of what he was actually eating on a daily basis, and that, and so to get into the
when
case
he was
study
here,
analysis,
he was eating a lot of grains.
Yeah, and I'm generally not super interested either, in that type of, because we, it's like it is what it is, and we always, we always dealing with the collateral damage, So that's why we take this as serious as we do, because we know there ain't no free pass. There ain't no get out of jail free card.
Well,
I mean, you either get it together, or you don't. And not all of us are gonna make it.
Yeah, he didn't excite me. Like, it wasn't too many people that excited me. Maybe Arnold Eric and Dick Gregory.
Mm-hmm.
Those was about the only two people inside of the physiology thing that was talking about diet that I really got excited about.
Yeah, and then
everybody else that came along, I just, kind of.
And then the juice man, you was influenced by the juicing.
Well, the juice man that was another kind of thing, though.
Right.
The juice man, that was just like, a machine, you know. It was like he had a machine,
Yeah.
you know, a juicer. I was like, wow, a juicer, wow, you know. And I got excited about Jay Cartage and the juices. He lived for juice, man. It was like this dude was just like in the juice, like, you know, like a religion, man, you know.
Yeah.
It was something, you know.
And Q says, I think this quarantine period is a good way to focus on the Mucusless Diet Healing System. There's less social pressures being separated. Get deep into your practice, y'all.
Let the time serve you.
Yeah.
That's what we said. What we're pushing is let the time serve you.
Yeah, man.
You know, for those who are at home a lot more now, man, and they never tried the enema, you know, get your water bag, hot water bottle, and try an enema. You got time now. You know.
Yeah.
You know.
Let's see. Ritesh Aurora says, brother Spira, why so sad? I'm not really sad. But if you interpret me as being sad, okay.
You're just sad, man.
I'm crying. I'm crying.
Yeah. Crying. We're crying that there's happy tears that we know about the Mucus-free Diet Healing System.
Yeah.
That's what we're crying about.
Right. And Royal asked, "What, Brother Air? Which Dick Gregory book did you like, or what was the one I guess that influenced you?"
Oh man, what was the one in the 7th? If you say it, I can't remember. I haven't picked up that
know
book.
You always talked about seeing him in person.
Well,
really was
yeah, I've seen him in person, but I had that book. But yeah, the seeing him in person was real influence to me. Was listening to the lecture in the 70s, and he was talking more diet and some conspiracy. After the 80s, like late 80s, man, he started talking about so much conspiracy. It just was turning me off, man. It was like, you know, and I understood, you know, like in the 90s, I was out of town doing something. And I remember my wife and you, Spira, and Twizzy, y'all went to something.
Yeah. Well, that was probably around 2002, 2003.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
we had went. He was promoting something called a heart bar at that point, where he was something that a candy bar.
Yeah, Snicker bar
to help you remove obstruction out of your heart. I mean, it was totally ridiculous. And I confronted him, and he was kind of scared of me because we all walked up to him kind of as a group, and he saw that I was holding a copy of the Mucusless Diet in my hands, and he kind of got nervous, and he was sort of trying not to address me. You know, he was kind of addressing other guys, and he started talking about time travel, and he was showing his watch, and so was trying to get off into this time travel thing, you know. And I was just like, I held the book up to him, and I was like, "So what do you think about this?" And he was just like, "Oh man, they ain't ready for that, you know. That's, you know, they ain't ready for that, you know." I mean, that was sort of his response to me, and I'm like, well, I mean, you gotta to talk to him about it, you know, before you got a captive audience and say something about it. And I asked something too to the big. It was kind of that, like the experience you had with Lalia, where I ask a question. Oh, and he said, "Oh, that's a loaded question," because everybody was asking these lame questions. I mean, just all these people in there just, you know, so will this do this and this heart, you know, it's about the heart bar, and they had some doctor trying to be all, you know, talk about why it was lying. And so I stood up and I asked my question. I was like, so why? And I don't even remember exactly what I said, but it was basically like, how could you reason that putting something that causes obstruction, this mucus forming candy bar, how could you ever reason that would help eliminate the waste that causes the heart attacks and the coronary disease? And he's like, oh, that's a loaded question. And then he kind of babbled on about something and then moved on to the next question real quick, and so that was my disappointing interaction with Dick Gregory.
Well, you asked a question that he couldn't answer, and that he knew better. And see, and that's what I was saying. By that time, by the 2000s and by the 80s, man, he had just, and I truly believe he got, in the 80s, he got jealous of Bill Cosby's success, and he really went after the money, and he knew he could make more money dealing with that conspiracy, and they took the Bohemian Diet, they took that off of the shelves.
It was the book that you talking about, was that Dick Gregory's Natural Diet for folks who eat,
that was his
cooking with Mother Nature.
But the Bohemian Diet was like a powder. It was like a little powdered mix that I don't know if you use fruit juice with it or water or milk. I don't know what it was. I never used it, but it was on the shelves and then something happened where they took it off the shelves, man. I mean, and replaced it with that Slim Fast. And I think what happened, like Procter and Gamble, whoever made Slim Fast, told them, if you don't get rid of that, we're gonna get rid of all our other products. We're not gonna let you have access to all our other products that you make money. So they took his off.
Well, they must have really took it off, because it's not. I mean, this must have not been in print at all for years, because you can't. I mean, all of these are. I mean,
it was on them shelves for a while, man, and I used to think that it was, somebody was buying it.
Well, but what I'm saying is, if you want to get a used one, I think that looks like the cheapest price, if you wanted to just buy one of these from somebody used, is $135.
What are you talking about?
Dick Gregory's Natural Diet for Folks Who Eat, Cooking with Mother Nature.
Oh, you talking about the book?
Like if you wanted to buy one now. Yeah.
You talking about the book?
Yeah, the book.
Okay. See, I was talking about the little powder.
Well, but earlier you was trying to remember what book you had bought.
Right. Cooking with That was the book. Right.
So I'm just saying, like, that this is. I mean, they selling stuff for some of these copies for $600. So at some point somebody dropped the ball and just totally stopped publishing. Because when any book gets to that point where there's a demand like that, but nobody's publishing it, then, there's someone dropped the ball somewhere.
I didn't know that. I mean, I just, I have a copy somewhere here. I better look to
Right. Yeah, you did. Your coronavirus money.
In these trying times.
If you find it, I'll scan it. Let me know.
Yeah.
I'll scan it.
But wow. So no, I didn't know it was like that. But I wonder if you could find some old Bohemian powder, like one that had never been opened, like a case of it. The Bohemian, I forget what they call it, Bohemian.
And it was something that he sold?
Yeah, it was Dick Gregory's Bohemian Diet. I think that's what the name.
I think I found it. Bahamian. That's not
Bahamian. Okay.
Bahamian Diet, Dick Gregory's Slim Safe Bahamian Diet drink mix. So they're not selling the book, but they're selling that for $30 for
Now you say it says Slim Safe.
Slim Safe is the name on it.
Wow.
I mean, I don't think it would be Slim Fast, because they
right. I mean, they took that Slim Fast,
but I would have
took his off the shelf to come in with that Slim Fast. So now they must be using this name as a modern name.
So you're sure that his thing was originally called Slim Fast?
No, his thing was called Bohemian or Bahamian Diet, and they took they had him on them on shelves like Kroger's,
in stores,
Walmart's, and then whatever. When Slim Fast came in, they took all of his stuff off the shelves and came in with Slim Fast. I heard him tell the story about that.
Trying to see if they say what's in it. You remember what the ingredients was?
Oh man, it was I don't know. I never messed with it because I think he had like maybe some activated charcoal in it, and I was never big fan of that. But I don't know. I can't remember, man. You're talking so many, but I never tasted it. I never said, because at that time I was into Jay Cartage real heavy. And juicing, man, I was like, shoot, I don't need none of this. I got my juicer, and I was just juicing up a storm, But I do remember that Bohemian. You say it was called Bohemian?
Bahamian. Yeah, not Bohemian, but Bahamian.
Okay, I always thought
like I don't know, like maybe the Bahamas, Bahamian.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Then they got the Bahamian diet formula.
Yeah, that was it. That was it. Yeah. That was it.
Trying to see what was in it. Oh, here's a commercial. Dick Gregory commercial.
Dick Gregory for the Bahamian diet.
The problem is you're overweight, whether it's 10 pounds or 150 pounds. Hey, I've been there, and the solution is simple. The Bahamian diet. Mix it with fruit juice.
See?
Drink it for breakfast
See what I'm
and lunch,
saying?
Eat a
Right.
well-balanced meal for dinner. Drink 8 glasses of water every day, and walk a mile every day. Hey, that's all it is to it. Don't wait. Start right now. You can do it. I know. I've been there, and it ain't pretty.
Available at GNC and most health stores.
Yeah.
See how he used it?
Yeah, like it was, where they had it really, legitimate. Yeah, it was, they had like an old school commercial. We should shoot a Brother Air commercial. Like, you could just have you with your enema bag and some lemons, and you'd be like, it's like the Mucusless Diet with the enema, and sort of do that.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's but you
gotta wear a sweater like that.
Simple.
Whatever this little shirt. We had a little cheesy
Drink it for
music.
breakfast and lunch. Eat a well-balanced meal for dinner. Drink 8 glasses of water every day.
Look,
And walk a mile.
is there comments under that?
I don't know, probably.
I like to see because maybe somebody is saying something like, "Man, this stuff was some crap."
Yeah, let's see. Was this the stuff they was talking about in the movie House Party? And they said, yes, I think so. I was watching it. Like, oh man, that's so long ago. And White Man Can't Jump. So I guess they talked about it. Somebody said, I wish I could find it again. I used it and it truly works. No side effects. The problem now that he is deceased, and Big Farm are going to try and copy his formula and pass it off as their own discovery. I mean, they've been doing that kind of thing. Let's see. I lost over 50 pounds with his diet, along with exercise and a change in eating habits. I experienced high energy levels and whole new different outlook. So, I mean, it looked like he was talking about like kind of using it sort of as like a fasting supplement, like
I mean that's but I always just got it as you drink a little bit of it and a diet was supposed to be in place with that, a change of diet was supposed to be in place with that, but it never was anything that I wanted to try. I was like, I'm not into that, in the powders and stuff like that. I just never was into nothing like that, making up little concoctions and stuff like that.
Right.
You know?
Let's see. The formula he revealed consists of cucurbita pepo seed. All these different things. I'll try to read these words. So yeah, but yeah, that's interesting.
Wow. Okay. Well.
He's on Kroger's, and yeah, I could see how once Slim Fast came, they just said, all right, let's take this black guy's thing off of here. We don't need that anymore.
Hey, brother, don't get no respect, man. Like, no, bro, we got something we gonna sell. You got to get up out of here. Here go all your cases back.
yeah, they just send right. Yeah,
they probably was sending cases back to him about 100,
Right.
Return mail, But Dick, man, I think Dick really, he went out, and especially in the 80s, man, he got so jealous by the 90s. He got so jealous of Bill Cosby, man, that he just was going after money.
Yeah.
That's why, when you called him in the 2000s, he was selling hard bars.
Yeah.
At that point, I knew it was, he didn't give a damn at that point about teaching people about health. It was just about making money with him.
Yeah. Reese says, let's pool our funds and get YouTube ad space for Brother Air's advertisement. Yeah.
Uh-oh. You done started something.
But that's a real thing. We could put a little ad together and put that was kind of in the early days. That's almost how I was as I really pushed that a lot of people have seen that the Brother Air keynote address video that remember at the Booker T. Washington health fair that you gave.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that became a pretty because I used to just share that all over the place, and then it kind of took off, and
yeah.
So that was almost like but I was kind of like an ad back in the day.
I remember the guy didn't know I heard him, but after I did that speech, and the guy from where was he from? Maybe Mercy for Health. He came over. He said, "Man, where you find him at?"
What'd he say? What for you?
He said he looked at you. He looked at you. He's like, "Man, where you find him at?"
Oh yeah.
After I did the speech,
yeah.
Where you find him at, man? It was like,
yeah, man. I mean, that was just no one was ready for that. And I was just looking out in the audience and people just smiling, man, because people were just like, I mean, they just had no clue what was happening, And but that was a good talk, and it's got out there.
Yeah.
And people was, I was back in the days where I was trying so hard to just make the video look better, because the quality would be all messed up. So I'll mess with it so much to just saturate it and do this I'll just mess with it. And but yeah, those were days.
Those were the days, man. And now we got some new days coming.
Some new days coming. Yeah,
and we know we gonna act up. This was meant for us.
Yeah. Well, I've been saying this is our time.
This is our time Jack.
Now.
So just get it together and go through this piece and say follow the leaders. and if you the leaders, I'm following you. You got to be ready to lead, Jack. Because this ain't no joke, man. These crazed zombies
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like whoever does the work is going to have a seat at the table. I mean, we've always been like that. We've always been open to who's doing the work. But
doing
very,
the work.
very few do the work. You know, very few
Right.
do put that kind of time in and that kind of research and show up, you know. And so we, you know,
They say you got to hang.
yeah, you gotta hang. You know,
A cat told me, man, we was in LA somewhere. We was around all these stars, and this cat asked me about something, and that was something, you know, some drug I had, you know, and it was. He was like, man, I want to come in, and I told the cat, I said, well, this cat wanted me to wait for him. He looked, the other guy looked at me, man, cat gotta hang, man. They don't be waiting on him. He's like, man, he gotta hang, you know. Like, don't be, you know. I was like, I thought I always remembered that, man. You got to hang, you know. And still to this day, you gotta hang, Jack. You wanna, you know, if you want to get in on some of this, you gotta hang, you know. And that's one thing that Spira did that I noticed was he was ready to hang, you know. He was ready to hang, Jack. And we'd go to protests, and he was hanging. He didn't know what was gonna happen. He was just following us.
Just like, hey, this is interesting.
He's like, where at? He's like, where y'all meeting at? It's like, okay.
Yeah. No questions. I didn't ask no questions. I just like, you said you protesting. All right, what's going on? Where's that? Just give me the,
you know.
what Khabib say. Send location. You know, send me location.
Yeah, and that's how it, you know. So Spira became the cat that was ready to hang. You know, no problem. It was like, you know, I knew I could count on him, you know, like if I had an idea to do something, I knew I could count on him if it made sense, you know.
Yeah.
We would be like, okay, let's do this. So
we gonna have to what I've been thinking about, we'll have to crash one of them some kind of health fair again now. That was fun. You know, we had the old health fair documentary. You know, we should do that again. And,
well, you know, they have they're closing the health gap thing every year.
Still doing that?
Yeah, they do it outside.
Okay.
So, you know, down at Washington Park every year now. And it's so lame.
Yeah.
And the biggest lines are the barbecue and the chicken trucks.
Yeah.
At the health fair. And I've always been like compelled to ask those cats, like, can't you just tell them to stay home for this one day that you're trying to promote health? And I think I'm gonna do that this year.
Is it still in April? Because it'll probably get canceled or passed. Isn't it in April? Is it still in April, or did they push it into the summer?
Well, yeah,
something?
you know, it was getting canceled because of rain every year. You know, for about 2 years, it was like torrential rains on the weekend.
This year, it probably won't even happen this year.
Yeah. Now it does happen. I think in April.
As I know, it was like April 16th or something. It was like years ago.
Bootsy was scheduled to perform. It got rained out, and then he was scheduled to perform the next year. It got rained out. You know,
which is, he's like, man, why? Yeah, I might as well just have it inside because they had it.
Yeah, they've been consistent with having it outside.
Yes, they probably couldn't afford where they had it when we went anymore.
And then I think last year we went down there. Me and Pounce went down there and busted, and it started raining, and we had to stop. So it's just like rain, man. For some reason, it just surrounds that weekend. And I think it's only one day. I don't think it's like Saturday and Sunday. I think it's like just on that Saturday. So
yeah.
But yeah, that would be a good one to go to. when they have the chicken and the barbecue trucks, we need to go and post up with signs and music and stuff right around them.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's
You know.
for people that want to see what we was talking about. This one of the in fact it might be it's like the second video that was ever posted on the channel, and it's called Booker T. Washington Health Month documentary by Professor Spira, and see, I'll do a clip of it. It's but yeah, I mean, this was the talk about the days, man. The expo, so they had that's Brother Air walking. Yeah, no, but it just looks like someone walked. But that's so I got the commentary with it.
What is mucus and pus? Dead animal flesh, dairy products, grains and starches. And people ask, well, what is it to eat? Fruits and vegetables.
With the caterers and trying to find dresses for my bridesmaids. It's just really been one.
We was just walking around, just talking, but we was just messing with people. Oh, here, I think I probably got an image of. They probably had Dr. Leah's book.
What's this product here?
It's AstraZeneca Pharmaceutical Company, and we got information on various therapeutic areas.
Okay.
Cardiovascular.
I mean, because look at how nasty that is, man. If y'all know about AstraZeneca, and they try to go in there like they a part of the community, they put old brother on there, and try to make it like, yeah, you take these medicines and we'll help get rid of all this gunk out of your out of your organs and
right.
Man.
Cholesterol and things on asthma.
Yeah, it's like take some literature. We'll get you ready for this poison.
Has a lack of insurance.
Okay. So what kind of dietary type of things do they talk about here? Like what's some of the diets that they recommend, or how people should eat, to prevent some of these things from happening?
All right, less fried foods, that kind of thing. Cut down on the fried foods. Exercise more.
That was his assessment. His company didn't tell him a damn thing.
Yeah, his company. Yeah. But what was funny is every time we asked that question to people, it was like the same. They would sort of give that same response. It'd be like, less fried foods, exercise more. Yeah.
Same pat answer.
Right. That you want to avoid that.
And then
right?
this was, man, I was just laughing at this, man. They had this is a health fair. They got these big girls just dancing.
If that woman could do that every day for the next 20 years and not lose no weight.
Right. It's like this.
Yeah, that was pretty sickening watching that. That was supposed to be the health fair.
Yeah, the health fair. This is where people are coming to.
Supposed to be a little bit healthy looking.
Yeah, they get this, riveting information, actionable information to take back your health. And this is, this was the fair. Just so excited. So exciting to be here.
Work to do.
Water.
He said water. Healthy. Sisters. You got work to do. This thing. Yeah, Shanti, yeah. Then this thing, man, this little co-opted commercial where they're trying to,
like his ancestors before him.
Like his ancestors we're down with the blacks.
Discovering our past helps us understand how we came to be who we are today. The Coca-Cola Company is proud to join the exploration.
As soon as they,
Coca-Cola is really interested in our culture.
Yeah.
You
Oh
can
yeah,
believe
yeah.
that.
They're real into.
You know, Coke tastes better than Pepsi.
Yeah, right.
There is no such thing as B12. There is no such thing as vitamin C. There is no such thing as melanin.
Ooh, now that one.
Oh, that
that
hurts some.
What kind of
Yeah.
that one hurt. That one hurt people.
Yeah.
Even to this day.
To this day, they're really
controversial.
invested in that.
Yeah, I'm still standing behind that melanin pigment bullshit. That's, I'm like, come on. And me and Frances Cress Welsing had it out one day. Because she had never been questioned like that, and she really was like, and then people were standing back like, oh, whoa, what is this? Like when she was trying to talk about pigment, and I was like, bottom line is blood.
Yeah.
And no complex carbohydrates. Okay. No sugar. No pasta. No white bread. No white rice. Okay. No fried food. And exercise.
Exercise. Got to exercise.
White rice and white bread.
Drink lots of water.
It was funny. Watch her get nervous when she says to eat meat.
Now, what's your diet like? What type of things you eat usually on a daily basis?
On a daily basis, fruits,
a lot of fruit,
yogurt, cereal, lots of vegetables, tomato, zucchini, broiled chicken.
She's like, she tried to get that in there, broiled chicken. There's a shot to just her reaction to the meat.
Lots of fish.
A lot of fish.
That's right,
though. And I made sure not to react so that she wouldn't, because she was like, seeing how I would react.
Help us in terms of our body.
Well, it has omega-3 fatty acids and has protein. And it has the good fat.
The good fat?
Good fat, yeah.
Okay.
As opposed to
so protein, how does that help us, our bodies?
Well, you need a protein for your muscles. To build your muscles, to have strength.
Okay.
To have energy.
So you eat protein, and then it just kind of gets into your bloodstream and.
Exactly. It gets breakdown, in the liver.
Right, breaks down.
Kidneys,
okay.
That, and then it's used, to grow for kids.
Okay.
And then, to maintain body weight.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you.
That was interesting.
what kind of diet do you guys adhere to?
The Mucusless diet. Yep.
The Mucusless diet. You explain to me
Children
what
of
that
the
is.
sun.
Being healthy and like fasting.
The vegan thug.
You do animal.
And working towards.
We be like getting out the baby pictures on, we like, here, we got some stuff.
All of this for my special day. Brian from PNG? Yeah. Oh, good, that's good. I am so excited. This is like my very first wedding.
And my thing was, like, what does this have to do with health? Health fair? You gotta doing a play about a reality show about this is like my first wedding.
This was a health fair.
Just celebrating all of the just the worldliness. I'm gonna get my hair did, and we
were so glad we were there. And this was their first one. They had started a nonprofit organization called Closing the Health Gap, And I guess this was the first year they had got that kind of money to throw that kind of thing in now this was in the Duke Energy, Duke Energy Convention Center. So it was, they paid some real money.
A huge space. Yeah.
You know, and so this was, and we had to be there just to see what a health fair and the kind of things that they were assigning value to. And it was nothing there that was nowhere on point, on no level. Nothing.
Right.
I mean, it was not one thing that we could just endorse or say, wow, this was cool. It was just ridiculous from the start to the end. It was just ridiculous, man. And all these so-called experts and people, authorities, man, it was just nobody said nothing that resonated any kind of healing or elevating their physiology. It's just clueless. And still, 10, 15 years later, they do it every year, and it still is clueless. Clueless as it ever has been. So.
Yep. Yeah, if they did it this year, they have the coronavirus edition where they'll.
Oh yeah. They'll be caskets
out there with their mask. Yeah, caskets out there. Be like, what's the healthiest casket choice?
Yeah, what's won't degrade.
What's that to keep your skin the longest when you're dead in the casket? What's the best option?
Yeah, water can't get in, and and they'll tell you all that. Get a casket that water won't seep in, and your bones will stay dry.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you gotta. The worms can't get in, and the maggots.
Dry bones.
Yeah. They have anti-maggot lotion for your for your face and your body.
Right. Yeah. They put this on, and they won't mess with you. So you'll stay beautiful for 500 years.
Right.
So yeah, man. Those was that's how this whole thing formed, man. This whole mucusfreelife.com thing formed. We would do these things, man. This was our mission, man. We would, and we didn't have to have no kind of like organization as far as like, this was us just talking on the phone saying, man, let's do this.
Right.
Like, let's do this. Okay. Let's, or us getting together and just hanging and we doing this. And, and that started the radio program, Model Pipeline radio program we did that for what, about 4 years?
Yeah.
So it's a lot of shows. Are most of those shows available that people can go and listen to that?
Not yet. No. The thing that I had been thinking of doing that I would have eventually liked to do is create a 24-hour constant radio station that just basically just 24 hours a day. It's just looping all those different hundreds of episodes, and so you just have to tune in and just you never know what's gonna be on there. You just check it out.
Because we did it at one point. We did it for 2 hours, and then it changed to 1 hour.
Right.
Yeah. So man. We should get them out. There's a few out there that you can listen to, and I do listen to them every now and then. I'll put them on while I'm doing my enema and listen. And it cracks me up listening to Baby Babaji and his little chipmunk.
Right. Yeah. Voice. Yeah.
That was funny. It's like, wow, he didn't sound like that to us live, but on recording, that's the way it came off.
Well, years later, because we didn't really. It's like you there hearing them every day, so you don't hear the transition as much.
Right. Yeah.
That voice transition. Then all of a sudden you listen back like, whoa, yeah, that was. And, we forget. Yeah, because he was 7. 7, 8. We forget that.
Yeah, man. He was hanging, man. He was hanging, and so yeah, man. Have we were kind of mild tonight, man. I think, because especially but that's a good thing tonight, because in this kind of real tragic situation, like this whole kind of coronavirus, like we're showing no fear.
Right.
We're showing no fear. We're not afraid. We're doing our thing. We're doing exactly
what we've
been doing.
Right. Consistency.
We have not changed up anything.
Yeah.
Spira still has 30 rolls of toilet tissue. I got my little 4-pack in there.
Yeah.
And but we're basically saying, let the time serve you, and no going back to the way it was.
Right.
You dig? Those jobs that y'all go to, put them on notice. Like, I don't like this at all. Like, okay, I got to go home and be online and work, and I really don't like this job anyway. You dig? And so sometimes, things are done so that you can make a move, man. Like, this ain't where you supposed to be anyway. So faith, it's like that where's the faith at? Do you believe in you? Do you believe something has to, I need this, well, they're showing you they don't need you.
Yeah.
Believe me.
Oh, yeah.
They don't need you. So, we better start building. We better start building us our paradise.
Mm.
Whatever we think it can be, we better get busy and really have a reality, a real reality. You know what I mean? Of doing the work and making it happen.
Right.
Like making these things happen, man. And so that's why we're trying to ask questions, and we're doing the meetups, and we're trying to look for,
right,
ideas. And
like I was saying, folks that do the work, come to the table, because I invite everybody, don't rely on me to just read everything, or, other people to just do all the studying. You got to take that time and educate yourself. And because then when we come together, it's going to be, a whole different level that we can get to together.
I guarantee you that what you did for like 30 minutes of this, going over the outline was boring as hell to people. But that's why you in the position you in, because those people did their outline on how to oppress you.
Right.
See?
Yeah. Right. Yeah, they did. They have their outline.
They have their outline. So, and you're the victim of it. You sitting back, staying in the house, 10 feet away from each other. So yeah, that's why I was saying sometimes
fire with fire, outline with outline.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's like somebody's interested in it, and somebody has to do that work, and that's what we're saying. We're for real.
Mm-hmm.
We coming for real, and we're trying to build something that can't be tore down.
Yeah.
You know, not by mucus and pus. Mucus and pus does its own self in. You dig? So it's kind of like we say, just move out of the way. Just move out of the way. They'll destroy themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, man. I'm, you know.
Yep. So yeah, we're gonna go on ahead and shut this one down for this evening. I appreciate everybody tuning in, and you know, it's time to work. You know,
Friday night party. That's what we had.
Yeah.
Friday night party. That's the way we party.
Yeah, this is how we party. You know.
What is that?
This is at what we was listening to before wait, I gotta get ready.
Oh. Friday night party. Party up here. Party up here.
Yeah, got the dates. All right. Yeah. So this is been Professor Spira, Brother Air, with yet another live broadcast, everybody. And share the video.
Stop piling up, man. We're coming at them, and we're not running from you. We're running to you.
Right. Yep. And so that said, check out all the links below. Make sure you sign up if you want to be a part of the meeting. We've got another meeting this Wednesday, and so we're gonna kind of keep this conversation going and keep the work happening, and just keep doing this work. This is work time. This is time to study, get educated, get your skills together.
Be smart. Don't
smart.
go for the head fake.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, until next time, peace, love, and breath.
Peace.